Did you know that most people wait 26 days to see an OBGYN? If you're dealing with a vaginal infection, herpes outbreak, or STI symptoms, you already know that's too long to wait. At HelloWisp.com, you can get a prescription in as little as 3 hours. Contact a doctor online and have the care you need delivered discreetly to your home for free in all 50 states. Or sent to your local pharmacy for pickup same day. Use code HEART, HEART, on your order for 15% off, only at HelloWisp.com. That's HelloWisp.com.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. They don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm, justice for you.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 4018. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my car. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, it is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: cows and candy bars. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Drink and drunk. All right, here we go. A man does not like the way his food came out, so he stabs an employee at Panda Express. Meanwhile, a woman sprays bear repellent in a jewelry store, and now her shoulder is a mess. Pickpocket busted when he touches a little too much butt. A woman who ran down a runway in Montana was acting a bit quite like a nut. And a man is arrested for DUI twice in one day. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, as Miles alluded to, weird things happen at airports. Now, maybe travel makes people crazy, maybe crazy people are the ones traveling, or maybe it's just a little bit of both. But case in point, a woman was, quote, acting erratic at the Helena Regional Airport. Now, not sure what her erratic actions were, but everyone took notice when she inexplicably ran down the runway, climbed a fence, and then ran off. And here's the thing. No one knows why. And now we go to the International Airport in Bangkok. A 22-year-old man, he was arrested there. Not because he was acting erratically, but because security guards were a little suspicious about the, quote, large bulge protruding below the man's waistband. They were guessing it wasn't penis, and they were right. Turns out the man was attempting to smuggle 2 otters and a prairie dog in his pants. Yes, you heard me correctly. He legitimately had 2 otters and a prairie dog in his pants. But he was caught because authorities thought there was no way his junk could be that big. But, be that as it may, a cosmetic company called Lushful Aesthetics, they're offering men a way to change that for just over $3,700, guys. They'll send you 5 syringes of penis filler that you can use to, and I quote, pad out your girth, giving you a girthier penis. And I'm not kidding, that is seriously what they're slinging. But these are just some of the stories we've come across. Stories left us with many questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we'll ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your story, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
To be a part of the big show, the random question, call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Did you know that most people wait 26 days to see an OBGYN? If you're dealing with a vaginal infection, herpes outbreak, or STI symptoms, you already know that's too long to wait. At HelloWisp.com, you can get a prescription in as little as 3 hours. Contact a doctor online and have the care you need delivered discreetly to your home for free in all 50 states, or sent to your local pharmacy for pickup same day. Use code HEART, HEART, on your order for 15% off, only at HelloWisp.com. That's HelloWisp.com.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. They don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm, justice for you.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
99.9 KISW.
All the Jones, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 4018. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. This is it. The very last, your guess is as good as mine of the year. Today, your exciting categories. Just for fun, we have the top 10 best candy bars of all times. All right. You voted online. We have the top 10. Then we have the list of U.S. states with more cows than people.
Aha, okay.
More cows than they actually have people living in that state. So your category is coming up with your guess is as good as mine. That's right, that would be cows. And that would be candy bars. That's your pick. For the very last, your guess is as good as mine. And as we do every Monday through Friday, lucky you get more Men's Room exclusively on Odyssey and the Odyssey app as we head on over to the Men's Room Happy Hour in episode number 511. Some props from the rain-soaked weekend, which seemed to go by a little too quickly there. But, yeah, we all did certain things. I know some of us got involved in the holiday spirit, so to speak, as far as doing a little shopping and everything else. But either way, Men's Room Happy Hour coming up. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. If you're taking a break for the holidays, tons of old podcasts on there. Everything from daily podcasts that you might have missed to our weekly podcast, Greatest Story Never Told, Megacast, the podcast, our weekly Best Of podcast, all in one place. Also, a Men's Room music channels on there as well. And the next thing you know, next year we'll have some brand new tunes for you.
Yes, indeed.
As that is our project for the week, is to come up with 25
no, 50. 50
each?
Yes.
A 200-song playlist, boys.
All right, 50 each.
Mike has been saying this for months.
Right. Now,
50
if you still like some of the songs that you had on your first list, you can put that on your next list. But I would just like to refreshen it. You know, it's the holiday season. It's the season of giving. Time to give people a new playlist to listen to.
I don't have 100 songs
I like.
I don't even know 100 songs. Either way, we'll have to come up with 50. But either way, that channel is still up and running. And if you haven't checked it out yet, tons of variety in there because we all just pick our own favorite stuff.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Just about everything on there that you could ever imagine. So it's a nice mix of tunes. And of course, we'll see you coming up here at 6 o'clock for the Men's Room Happy Hour. And today is the day that we do our random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola. All right, Michael, let's see what we got here for you. Okay, let's just start right here. What would you say is the oldest thing that you own? The oldest thing that you own in your possession?
Do we include vehicles in this? Or
Yeah, if you own it.
Yeah.
Oldest thing.
Well, I mean, my truck's older than me. That's from 91. Oh, no, here we go. The oldest thing I got is my grandmother from when Beanie Babies were first started being made. She actually started up collecting totes of them. And now to this day, I have about 8 totes full of Beanie Babies ever since day one.
Now, are you happy to have them, or are you holding on to them because they're from Grandma?
A little bit of both, but I'm also starting to look into the collector side of that and actually see what these little beanies are going to get me.
And what does it look like right now? Because I've heard both sides of the argument.
8 tubs of Beanie Babies, and I haven't dug too hard, and I know that there's like the McDonald's toys mixed in, Matchbox cars, like a bunch of different stuff from when my parents, who are like 40, 50 now, were children.
Okay.
And so I got some old collectibles that I really don't even know what they are, and I'm gonna be asking my older family members, hey, do you remember this?
Well, there's some of that stuff back. I don't know what the value on it is, but I know it was a collectible at the time. So even if it's Cabbage Patch dolls, if they're Beanie Babies,
right?
There seem to be a number of things that people were collecting at that time.
At the time,
are they worth money now? I don't know. People collect.
I mean, it just depends.
Cars.
Like you're saying, it just depends on what they are.
Yep. But I feel like Beanie Babies and like Pound Puppies and all that kind of went the way of the baseball card, where once you told everyone this will be collectible, there was such a run on these items that they became worth less, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it was kind of a different time as far as it seemed like everybody collected something.
Sure.
So if your grandfather collected coins, that was
stamps. That was a big one.
Stamps was another thing people collected. A lot of people collected like cast iron, like little trucks that you would sell. At, gas stations. I knew friends who
we used to get a Hess truck like every year.
Did you get one every? Have you seen the commercial for the latest one?
I don't think I have seen it yet.
Okay, so I forgot that they exist. This is the time of the year they start advertising because it's kind of the Christmas special. They've upgraded, bro. So where we just push them, then they updated where I believe we could at least turn on the headlights.
Right.
They have like a helicopter that goes with this thing. I want to say
that's been around for a minute because I had one at some point that had the helicopter.
They do.
Yeah, and it made sounds. It lit up. Like that Hess truck seemed to be the height of technology as a child. Right?
It always kind of, but it's weird, man, because there's like I know you collected G.I. Joes when you were a kid.
Correct.
But for Miles and I, there was no collection of them. They were like, you could get the blonde guy or the brunette guy.
And you bought it just to play with them.
Right, you bought it to play with.
Well, I would say I collected them. Like, I played with them.
Right, you did play with them. And same thing. All we could do is change their outfits, basically. So they had fatigue. Sometimes they went into space, right? It's one of those kind of catch-all things. Then they introduced the one with the felt mustache and beard.
Yep.
That was technology. Then they had one, I believe, that blinked. And you're like, man, oh, man, this is craziness. But I would rather get my hands on one of those, just based on their age, than the smaller ones that you had. And even dumb stuff that I never wanted as a kid. Remember the Baby Alive doll?
Sure.
Then they upgraded to Baby Alive, and I could not believe this was a sales pitch, but I guess little girls dug it. But Christmas is coming up, already familiar with Baby Alive, and they're like, hey, we have now hit the height of technology. If you feed her with this bottle, it leaves a poop and pee stain in her diaper. That wasn't there until you did it. And it was a huge seller. And I'm like, that's the last thing I want. No. They never had like G.I. Joe with dysentery. Like, ooh, when you pull down his pants, he has diarrhea.
But the little G.I. Joes I had, right? Because I was post the giant guy.
Yeah.
Right? They're like 3.5 inches tall.
I think that's the standard.
But like their arms move, their knees move. Like I said, like half the time I would just line them up and play football with them.
So you could do that. Our G.I. Joes, they were not flexible, and you had all different kinds of boots and shoes you could put them in. And 90% of the time that you pulled off the boot, the foot came off with it. That was always a pain in the ass.
My neighbor, who was he was the one guy in the neighborhood that had a kegerator, but he was also just interested in all things beer. I think he worked for a distributor when he was in his younger 20s.
He collected cans.
He collected cans. He had cans all the way around the perimeter. I mean, even if it was one brewery, he might have 7 different cans from that brewery.
Yeah.
He had the old vintage tin signs. Mm-hmm. He had clocks. They were all kind of surrounding his bar that he put in his basement. But the collection was impressive because back in the day, whether it was the local swill, if the sports team was good, you would get the commemorative edition Iron City Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl champion cans.
They did that. I don't know if they still do it, but I remember when we lived in Colorado, that was the first year that the Broncos went to the Super Bowl. And I was not a Broncos fan, but all the kids in school were begging their parents to buy Orange Crush because that's what their defense was nicknamed. And they started putting, Otis Armstrong.
Lone Star had the Cowboys on there, the brewery in Fall City near Cincinnati. They would do all the Reds World Series championships. Not so much the Bengals, but anytime a sports team.
One of them was doing well at the time.
I mean, my dad had the steel curtain, like those Iron City cans.
Yeah.
And, we didn't grow up Steelers fans. He just collected them.
Yep. I think the oldest thing that I have is a coin that my grandfather gave me from the 1860s. It's a silver dollar. It's pretty well worn out. You can't really see. It's the Flying Lady. But I do have baseball cards from the 50s and 60s. The radio that I listen to at home is from the 20s, the 1920s. That's my stereo. But I think the thing that I use the most that I actually appreciate are just some of the albums that I have.
Yeah, that's where my old stuff
from the 60s that I still listen to, and I have maybe a couple from the 50s that they're pretty old jazz albums.
I was going to say, they're jazz. I got a few of those. The vinyl weighs like 140 pounds itself. The music label no longer exists. And all the recordings kind of sound like this. But they don't even press a lot of those anymore. You can't even find them online, so it's cool when you have it.
Razorman asks, what's the oldest thing that you own? Two notable fossil discoveries are providing paleontologists with new information about dinosaurs, and they were just discovered. A giant skull of a beast named Pliosaur, described by one scientist basically as an underwater T-Rex, was found on a cliff in Dorset in the UK. The Pliosaur skull, the skull is over 7 feet long.
Damn.
The skull might be the most complete skull ever found. The upper and lower jaws are intact, as are its 130 teeth.
You know what? That means it has better teeth than anyone else in England.
Yeah. Help scientists better understand.
That's why they killed it off.
How it hunted and consumed prey. Ridges on the skull might suggest differences between males and females. It's a very likely a new species as far as what they found. The specimen, by the way, is thought to be a kid. It's a juvenile.
What?
Suggesting that pliosaurs were bigger than what they thought lived 75 million years ago. By the way, David Attenborough, we all know David Attenborough. He is
the nature guy.
He's going to do a show about the find on BBC next month. So they're going to do a whole thing about the pliosaur.
Never have Brits seen so many teeth in one place.
Meanwhile, in Canada, scientists found the fossil of a young tyrannosaur that preserved the creature's last meal. Two turkey-sized dinosaurs who were speedy but not speedy enough. This is the first solid evidence that we have the diet or feeding behavior of a juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex. The fossil, described as a cousin of T-Rex, was found at the Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta.
What's up, cuz?
Yeah. Though it was only 5 to 7 years old, they estimated it weighed around 800 pounds.
I went to school with one of those kids.
At death. So,
how big do they think those things got? As far as like a full-grown T-Rex?
There's a couple here in Seattle, right? Private collectors don't. Aren't there two in homes in this area?
I know at least there's one. I would assume there's two because there's a lot of money here. Like, is it the full T-Rex skeleton or something like that, or just the head?
I'm trying to. Okay, so if you buy a T-Rex, first of all, you need a room for this thing,
right?
And if you've ever been to a museum and you've looked at the size of whales or whatever,
they're massive.
They're huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you just have a whale room? Do you have a T-Rex room?
If you could afford to get that kind of stuff, yes, you have a massive house. You have room for
real high ceilings.
Yes. But could you just buy any other dinosaur? For an example, I know T-Rex is probably the one that you can't get a Brachiosaurus or a Brontosaurus in your house. Maybe a Stegosaurus. Can you buy the fossilized remains of a dinosaur as your own to keep personally?
Well, obviously you can because they did, right? You can either find it and claim ownership but I don't. I mean, if I went
if you're on eBay or something.
But if I go to the Natural History Museum, right? Because they've got a few. I know you have a few in the back that you have not assembled for the public, but I can give you, I don't know how much it costs, $50 million. Do they sell it to you?
All right, so this says individuals could legally purchase and own dinosaur fossils provided they were legally collected and can be legally sold.
All right.
Okay. I still don't know who your broker is.
There's no Dinosaurs R Us. I just don't know where you buy these things.
Right.
How many you got? I got 20 of them.
Like there's art brokers.
Well, it's kind of like the dating sites, right? Like there's dating sites for people that are very attractive or very rich or pro athletes. We don't know about them.
And there's a reason.
But they're out there. Right. Same thing. People that are buying dinosaur fossils, that's another tier of money.
Yes,
random.
Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, Cheyenne, let's see. What do we have here?
Ooh, real quick. Someone here says, collect the teeth instead. I've got lots. T-Rex, Spinosaurus, Allosaurus, Raptor, etc.
Okay. I'll be damned. All right, Cheyenne.
You should make dentures and freak people out.
We're going to give you this question. It deals with pain. Whatever your pain is. So what is the remedy for what ails you? Now, Ted, I know for a fact when you come down with a battle of the gout every once in a while, you drink cherry juice.
Yeah. That helps.
So
Cherry juice.
Kind of on that tip, whenever I am feeling like ass, my magic number is typically 4 Advil. If I'm feeling real, if I have a horrible headache, typically I'll drink or have 3 in a glass of water. If my headache is raging, I'll do 4, and within 1 hour, guaranteed my headache is gone.
I feel if I'm getting sick, some kind of viral thing or whatever, whiskey. Every time. Like, man, chug a little bit of whiskey, I'm telling you, it helps.
So what's your personal remedy for what ails you?
Okay, well, given that I have cerebral palsy, it does come with a lot of muscle spasticity, which to alleviate that, I do have medical marijuana here in South Dakota, so I use weed.
What about before that? Were you using weed illegally because you knew it worked, or did you actually wait for them to legalize it?
I waited just to keep everything, just to keep everything on the up and up,
What is the, is it medical only there, or is it legalized?
It's medical only.
Okay, so what did you use before medical marijuana? Because clearly, now that they made this available to you, you've made the decision that it trumps all of the other ones?
Right. Well, what I used to do was just be a hot shower and then probably maybe some night, sleep would usually kill any pain that I had, I found. So usually would be a hot shower and some NyQuil.
When you travel to other states and you smoke their weed, how does the medical grade weed in Wyoming compare to just a state that's got full legalization as far as the quality?
That would be South Dakota, and I would say the weed is definitely, the medical grade weed other places is definitely better, I would say. I'm coming out to Seattle in a couple of weeks, and while I'm there, I'm going to definitely enjoy partaking of the stuff out there because it's definitely better.
And they got rid of medical marijuana from what I remember. I don't know if they've ever changed that as far as the potency level.
It's gone.
It's just whatever you can
the
find.
stuff you buy now is pretty good. Shia, what are you coming out to Seattle for? Show?
I just Seattle's always been my place of peace, man. I do motivational gigs out there. Some people go stare at a lake. I honestly just go to Seattle, so that's what I like to do. So.
Okay,
all right, hit me up.
Reason we asked what is your remedy for what ails you? If you've ever found yourself on the cusp of a panic attack, rapid heart rate, sense of doom or danger, shortness of breath, dizziness, a TikToker seems to have found a possible solution. My therapist told me to eat a warhead whenever I'm feeling a panic attack coming on. And when I say I've never had anything rip me out of the thrones of a panic attack faster, I effing mean it. The woman was referring to the lip-puckering tart candy. And while it may seem odd, a solution for anxiety, experts agree that this could prove somewhat beneficial. There's definitely truth and science behind eating sour or spicy candy to ease anxiety and panic attacks. It's a wonderful therapy hack that is practical because you can carry a sour candy with you anywhere. So if you have a Jolly Rancher or something like that, pop one of those. But they say the basic science behind it, which is that a human brain can only handle one emergency at a time. Meaning that, you might be thinking
we're done with the panic attack. We must deal with this now.
Right. This is unbelievable. Or this is
and you
spicy.
won't spit it out.
Do you guys like sour candy?
I don't mind them.
I'm not a big fan, but I do like an Atomic Fireball on the other end. I might be able to do a spicy one.
See, I like sour candy.
Yeah, I like sour candy. I do.
If I bought Warheads, I'd probably have 10 panic attacks a night.
Well, they say
it's happening again.
Sucking on a sour ball is a grounding technique of sorts that halts the brain's fight or flight response. So spicy foods, they can also serve the same purpose.
Okay.
So if you were to just eat something, even if it's just like a teaspoon of hot sauce.
We have some super hot sauces in our house, man.
Yeah, even holding an ice cube and then putting that in your mouth because your brain is going, oh, there's something really cool.
Okay, yeah.
And it kind of takes the focus away from the fact that you're having a panic attack and your brain focuses on something else.
One thing at a time.
Yes. Hold on.
I'm just picturing me just standing there holding an ice cube.
But I'm not panicking. Yeah. I'm just cold.
If you've ever broken anything or sprained anything where you need to put an ice pack on, or you've gotten into an ice bath, and Kevin Hart you do a podcast for a while from on. It is. I have never been in below my nipples. That was the farthest I've ever been in. No, I've never dunked my head in it before. We used to have these vats, man, and when I played football just for therapy. And there was nothing worse than seeing them loading that ice machine and loading that entire thing up with ice and thinking, who is it that has to get in there? Because it ain't me. So whoever it is,
I was at Austin.
Start asking around, like, all right, who's going in that thing?
When I was at Austin, my buddy Cobb, we started every morning with a cold plunge.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
He's got one on his balcony. It is tough, but I love it. You feel so much better when you get out.
Have you seen the ice tubs that they sell like online on some social media sites? Okay. It makes perfect sense. It's an outdoor kind of a barrel that you get into, and you fill it up with ice and you fill it up with water. Where in the hell are you getting that much ice? It's almost like,
That's a good question.
We're camping. Now we're going to take an ice bath. I'm like, where in the hell? It's like 9 bags of ice. Like, where'd you go?
That's a good question.
7-Eleven? I'm like, it seems good in theory.
Right.
But I think some places it just gets cold enough that you could just leave it outside.
Okay, that would make sense. I hope you don't live there, though. It's a problem, you know? More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
The will of a farmer is like no other, forged by the strength of generations past, propelled by the hope of what lies ahead. Unpredictability cannot shake its resolve. It wears a coat of courage and commitment, boots made of love for the land. At BASF, we support you with tools for tomorrow, new chemistries, seed traits, and technologies, because we know the world's future will be fed by the will of a farmer. BASF, helping you do the biggest job on earth.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
It is Random Question. Last one of the year, 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Derek. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Hello, Eric. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Eric? Oh, my bad. Hey, I'm right there. I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Hola.
Oh, sorry, man.
It's okay. It's okay. I think I got the right question for you.
Throw me a question.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
What would you say is the hardest drug that you've ever tried?
Can I get a second question?
Oh, come on, man.
You haven't tried any hard drugs before?
I have, but I'd rather not share it with the world.
He doesn't want to tell everybody he did meth.
Okay.
I was going to guess heroin.
Okay. Well, I'll go with meth. What the hell?
So you've had meth then?
No, but I figured that's a safe answer.
How is meth better than the other drug? There's heroin, there's
heroin
crack,
and meth are kind of the bottom rung.
PCP.
Because nobody would ever think that that's actually what I would say.
But see, that's a good. You don't want people to say
out of the box that I know it's a safe answer.
Crack, and I guess crack.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Well, how long?
That is. I'm sorry, man. It's a rough question, man.
All right, let's ask it like this.
You're right. I get you not wanting to.
Is it something you tried or something you did? Right? Like Miles has smoked crack, but Miles was not a crack smoker, so he kind of snuck it into his world.
Yeah, I'll definitely go with it. Something that I tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't meth.
All right. So, like when we were in high school, my buddy, he's one of those guys, and you could buy a peyote cactus from the garden center,
right?
And there's various ways that you can do peyote. One of them is through the flowering of the cactus. Now, the problem with that is, typically the flowering of the cactus can happen every year. It can also happen every 5 years.
Sure.
So depending on how long you want to water this thing and have it in your home, it's not just something that if you go that route, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, some people have what they call buttons that they will distribute. If you've never heard of that, another way you can do it is you can.
I'll go with a button.
You can also boil the root, and then you take the root extract and you kind of break it down into a powder, and you can do it immediately. But again, the peyote cactus is about an $80-$90 cactus then. So this was quite the investment as far as, kids who normally spend $25 or $20 on an eighth of weed. But we tried it.
Peyote to me, and I understand it is a very potent and powerful drug, but I don't consider it a hard drug, where hard to me means it's dirty and no one's happy. If you say peyote, what does everyone say? Dude, what was it like? Did you have a trip? Right,
it wasn't the craziest trip I've ever had in my life. It was actually very mellow, but I didn't want to take a lot because I didn't know a lot about it.
But if you say, well, I did heroin, very few people go, ooh, what was that like? Right? There's just a different response. Or I smoked meth. People aren't excited to hear what your experience was. They are curious to hear if you went to jail, how long were you on it. Peyote, people are like, that's really cool, in spite of it being a powerful drug.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, that's probably, I've done acid before.
Sure.
Obviously, any kind of cocaine derivative I've done before. But I think the worst stuff that I used to take was those ephedrine trucker speeds as far as how it made me feel.
Sure, because you don't know exactly what they are.
Like the White Crosses.
But like I've said before, like Americans love speed in any form.
Yes.
Right? Cocaine kind of gets glamorized. It's like socially acceptable in a lot of places.
Because people that do cocaine typically have money. So when you glamorize it, it's easy because these people are already living well.
Right.
They're having pool parties.
Athletes.
They got Ferraris. Crack doesn't really get the same thing. The guy smoking crack's hiding behind a dumpster behind a 7-Eleven.
That's weird for Charlie Sheen.
Americans love speed.
Yeah.
It's just most people can't afford to do a bunch of cocaine. So you do crack, or you got methamphetamines.
Or you have a prescription for Adderall.
Right. Or you have when all that ephedrine stuff was running around. And look, when that stuff was out there, I worked with a ton of people that took them all the time. And you never gave it two thoughts. Little did we know it was like low-dose meth.
Well, it's like oxys, right? It's just legal heroin or whatever. That's probably the most potent drug I've done. And granted, the first time I tried it, I did not have a prescription.
I've done it one time with...
Yeah. And that was with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I've even when I've had medical reasons where they wanted to give it to me, I'm like, do not give me oxys. Seriously, I don't want oxys.
I'll do a Percocet if I'm for pain.
Yeah.
If I'm in one of those situations, but that's very rare.
I always got itchy whenever I had an injury and had Percocet.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a rash, kind of itchy?
No, just your skin. Like, so everybody has different reactions to stuff.
So it's like makes your skin crawl.
Right, those opioids, like it makes me itchy.
Well, when you need them, you don't feel a buzz from them.
No, you don't. You're in pain.
Basically, they're going straight to pain. And the worst thing that can happen is you wake up in the middle of the night and it wears off.
You still feel a little bit.
But there's also a couple of drinks on a plate involved.
But even when I had my surgery on and my admin on the hernia, same thing. They were like, "Do not walk home," and I was like, "All right." And then they gave me a Percocet. I'd never had one before, and 2 blocks from my house, I was like, "Let me out of the car. I'm good to go." I feel great.
I'm rocking. Reason we asked, what's the hardest drug you've ever tried? Julia Roberts, we all know her. She was playing a game of Plead the Fifth on Watch What Happens Live, and she admitted that the hardest drug that she ever tried was, in fact, mushrooms. She says she does not regret it. In fact, she called it a positive experience. Quote, "It was nice. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Kids, though, don't try it at home." So that was basically her...
try behind the school.
I was about to say, where's a better place to try it than the comfort of your own home?
It depends. Who else is home with you?
And what friend group are you with? And what are your options?
That's what I would recommend with mushrooms. It's like, look, man.
Make sure you can walk around.
Them. I need to be comfortable.
I enjoy them. I do, but you don't want to try to act like you're not on shrooms. If you're around your parents or something, I'm pretty open about it. I am floating on shrooms. Also, I'm in a great mood.
Do not do it in a dorm room with your buddy and his girlfriend. There is horror stories. I know so many people that are like, tried a bunch of college. I hated it. I was like, was it like you and a buddy or you and a girl in a dorm room? They're like, yeah, it was awful. It's like, right.
It's not the right environment.
Don't do that.
It's not the right environment.
It's horrible.
You can't be trapped someplace. You can't be trapped in a room.
That's very true.
You need to be able to go out and at least walk around the block if you need to. Or go on an adventure. And another thing that I would recommend if you ever do try it is try it first during the day. That way you can see things. Right. You have more, as far as your visual experience. Not that you're going to see tracers or anything like that. It just in the dark, it's not as fun. It's not that it's...
You don't think so?
I don't think it's
I
bad.
disagree, absolutely.
Depends on if you're at a concert, what your environment is. But if you're just...
Not for me, man. I just like shrooms. But I like them at night because whatever I see, I'm enjoying it. But they just make me smile. And I'm hyper aware that I'm on shrooms. Like whatever you think you're saying, it's not... So I never freak out about it. I'm just like, it's like going to Fantasia without spending the money. Mm-hmm. And I can't get the smile off my face. Hello, Derek. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hola. Derek, welcome to the program. And the random question. All right, let's go with this one. Physically, as far as your body is concerned, what about you do you think could use a little work? As far as your overall physical attraction.
Ooh, I would have to say I would like more defined nipples, like chest.
Wait, you want a bigger chest or you want more defined nipples? Because these are two different things.
That is true. I should say more defined chest.
All right.
Would be ideal, you know.
Okay, how are your nipples doing in general? They look pretty good? I mean, you got big fatties or you got, like little dimes or quarter size or what?
I would say they're about a dime, you know. They're nice and symmetrical to my chest shape.
That's huge. Now, you someone who's tried to get definition on your chest and it just doesn't work, or have you made the effort at all?
No, absolutely. I've tried over the years, like different workouts, different techniques.
Really? And it just does not translate.
Yeah. Doesn't translate at all.
Okay. Well, sometimes, too, it helps if you can cut a little weight when you're doing that, but that's kind of hard when you're putting on muscle mass. But either way.
Well, it's a problem. Muscle weighs more than fat, so you might gain weight, but you still look better for it.
Reason asked physically, what about you could use a little work? Believe it or not, a New York cosmetic clinic has begun offering about $3,500 penis fillers to help men pad out their girth, just in time for what they call gray sweatpants season. Lushful Aesthetics has shared their new treatment, which gives men the chance to finance their units by using buy now, pay later to fund the treatment. For 5 syringes of the filler, it's going to cost you about $3,767. Clinic says it's perfect for gray sweatpants season. Their website explains penis filler shots increase the girth of the penis by utilizing dermal filler.
Do you inject this directly into your junk,
yes.
I guess?
Yeah, it says for patients looking to have girthier penises. Both the shaft and glands, the head, can be treated to become enlarged. While the treatment does not actually change the length of the penis while erect, it prevents full retraction of it when flaccid. So you look longer when you're not aroused. So it's basically just for when you're not excited.
Is that the look you want? Say, I'm going to Costco, because I got to go in there and make a run, and I'm wearing my gray sweatpants. I'm not really trying to call attention to my junk so much. Like, I don't want to look half husky. Either I just want to be full-on husky, or you don't notice at all. But I feel like permanently...
No, you got to have a little outline going.
Really?
Yeah.
It's build your confidence and strolling to the store, just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're already a shower, then it doesn't matter. You probably don't even realize you're doing it.
True.
But if you're a grower, then, like, yeah. You know what I mean? When it's game time, we're fine. But it's like, I'd like to have a little more little more action going here.
Look at that stud over there. That's right, ladies. Have husky all the time. Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Brandon, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, now let's go to the world of the kitchen gourmet food. What would you say is the best dish that you can make? Either for a date, your wife, just for yourself. What's your best meal?
Chicken fettuccine.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do the fettuccine from scratch, or do you just buy the jar?
No, I buy the jar of, I buy the fettuccine cream sauce, and then buy the noodles, and cut the chicken up.
And how long have you been confident that you're good at making this particular dish?
I'd say I made it like 3 or 4 times. I was doing spaghetti for a while, and then switched over to that. I've got a few compliments from it.
All right, well, cool. Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with that. I tell you what, that's one thing I miss about my kids being younger, is because anytime that we would go to a place that had fettuccine, they would get it, but it's so hearty and so, filling that they would never finish it.
Right.
So I'd always get
You'd get to finish it.
Get a couple of extra bites of that, man. And you always go, oh, my God, this is, it's just.
Did they go chicken or shrimp?
Typically chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah.
I like shrimp, though. I'm with you.
Throw it all in there.
I love fettuccine Alfredo. I can't tell you the last time I sat down and ate it.
Or ordered it. I've seen it on the menu and thought, all right, but it's so heavy.
I can't remember where we were, but within the last year I ordered it. And I forget this every time, in spite of the fact that it is a heavy-ass cream sauce. It reminds you that you're lactose intolerant within like 15 minutes. Usually I get a bigger window, so if I drink a milkshake, I got 2 hours before there's going to be any kind of issue.
Okay.
Man, the fettuccine Alfredo, and again, I don't know why it doesn't cross my mind, but like, we're still at the restaurant where I'm like, okay, we need to get the check, man. Like, it's not like I have to poop. I'm saying, like, I got to do it now. And my body's telling me, you don't have a choice.
I also just don't like fettuccine. It's too thick.
Really?
Yeah, man. I like. I mean, why
You mean
can't
as
I
far
put,
as the noodle goes or the sauce?
Well, the noodle's fettuccine.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, like, Alfredo salsa and spaghetti or.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I
into
feel
it.
weird, man. I like the thick noodle with that thick-ass sauce. Somehow makes sense. And I've had it before, like on an angel hair, which I like angel hair, but it
doesn't hold.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. I need the fat noodles with the thick sauce.
Reason we asked, what is the best dish that you make there? You guys like garlic shrimp, right?
Sure.
Who doesn't?
Alfredo or whatever. What do they call it? It's just in butter. That's called shrimp.
Scampi?
Scampi, yeah. Well, there's a guy on TikTok who makes videos where he cooks elaborate things in his hotel bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this guy? Sometimes he'll use...
Jesus Christ. That guy drives you up a wall.
Why is that?
Because it's gross.
Like, what have you seen him make? I haven't seen his videos.
I've seen him make ribs. I saw him. I know you're going with the shrimp. He made them in the damn sink of the airplane.
That's exactly where I'm going with the story.
The airplane.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
It's gross. Like, I don't find it exciting. And, like, I get it. Then he just, like, I saw him make ribs or something. And then he just lays on his bed and eats it.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
How would you make ribs in a hotel? I just don't... Maybe you steam them in the coffee pot?
Is this also the same guy that makes everything in his dorm room from his bed?
So this guy's older. He does hotel room stuff. He's kind of like a funny little redneck dude. Then there is a guy, but the kid that makes stuff in his dorm room actually is making pretty good food.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But see, even with the shrimp guy, and you're right, it sounds disgusting, but I'm on a flight. I'm sitting next to this dude. So, hey, partner, I'll be right back. I'm going to make some shrimp. And he walks out, and he's got this shrimp dish, whatever it might be.
No, it's not a dish.
Part of me's thinking, I got to try some, man.
So he said, quote, in one of his hotel bathroom videos, I just had, quote, a terrible idea. He was getting on a plane the next day. So he posted a video where he makes garlic shrimp inside the bathroom of a commercial airliner. He said he was lucky enough to get past security because the components to build the heating element might look like a bomb. But either way, he used 6-volt batteries wired to an immersion beverage heater. And it got hot enough that the raw shrimp only needed a few minutes to cook. He then added instant mash to the shrimp water in the sink for extra flavor and topped it off
the flavor
with garlic butter. Once everything was made, he tossed it into a complimentary barf bag, shook it up real well, walked back to a seat to enjoy his meal of garlic shrimp.
Hey, man, I like where his head's at.
In a barf bag.
But he's right. As far as airport security goes, I'm a security guard. I see all these wires. I see your 6-volt batteries. I'm going to assume it's a bomb. Now, we pull you aside, and you're going to try to convince me. Because my thought is, sir, you're honestly trying to convince me that you're going to make garlic shrimp in the bathroom of the plane. It's a bomb. Like, we're calling the feds. Your ass is going to jail.
Thurl, I'm telling you, if you saw some of his videos, I get it's his shtick.
Right.
You would have the same disdain in your voice that I do.
Is the ribs the worst one you've seen?
He's made a few, but he's cooked steak in hotel rooms, whatever. But it's just,
well, if you have a hot plate, I can see you being able to pull something off.
All right, I'm watching this video now of him making the shrimp. All right. Looks like he's building a bomb. It certainly does. Yeah, there's the toilet. Always a good look.
He's got the shrimp on him.
Yep.
He's got to heat up the water first, then put the shrimp in there.
He's making the shrimp in the sink.
Yes.
Yeah, like literally. He filled the sink
Yes,
with water. He's heating it up. All right.
Meanwhile, there's somebody who has to pee.
Thank you, Mike.
He's making a doggone shrimp scampi.
When I saw this video, I was like, Jesus, I would be so annoyed. Like, what is this guy doing in there?
What do you think you would have thought he did if you walked in the bathroom, just the smell of it?
Well, there's garlic, there's shrimp. It's going to smell like garlic.
But I'm saying, I would not think he made garlic shrimp.
And there he is,
you know what I mean?
eating shrimp on a plane.
He looks like a guy that would do that.
Okay, double dip, by the way. He goes back to his seat and he starts eating out of a doggone barf bag.
Right.
So you see some big dude walk into the bathroom, spend about 15 minutes in there, then he comes back out, now he's eating out of a barf bag?
Right.
Yeah.
And shrimp.
I'm begging that this guy didn't sit next to me. I would be mortified.
Let's see. Somebody here says the guy cooked his ribs by putting them in the pillowcase and then used a hairdryer.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. It's gross.
A pillowcase. You ruined a pillowcase.
A pillowcase and then used the hairdryer.
Like, that's what he does. It's not like he brings hot plate. He, tries to use stuff that's, around.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Again, I get for social media why he does it. It's awesome. I see his stuff all the time. I hope he's making some money off it, but it is gross.
I could see you making a quesadilla with an iron.
Yes.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Something like that. Because you're using it as a hot press.
I think he should put out a cookbook. It's like, hey, you don't have to do it, but if you're at a hotel, if you're on a plane, here's some simple things you can do to feed yourself.
I get the luxury of the hotel, but Go buy a sandwich. Order a pizza.
You've got a microwave in there, hopefully.
You can be lazy and just lay in bed and eat. It's the one time you probably do it when you're in that hotel room, but I'll be making food in a damn pillowcase.
More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROB.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. They don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm, justice for you.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Let's be honest, preventing pregnancy is a pain. Whether you're picking birth control up every month or running to grab Plan B, it costs too much time, money, and effort. All while your partner gets to go about their day uninterrupted. Wisp is changing the game. At hellowisp.com, you can get the reproductive care you need without stepping foot in a doctor's office or waiting in line. Have birth control delivered on your schedule and get emergency contraceptive before you need it. Use code CARE, C-A-R-E, at hellowisp.com for 15% off your first order. That's hello-wisp.com and have it delivered for free.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. They don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm, justice for you.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Not the stat that you really want to hear, but there are 300,000 children who live in poverty right here in Washington State. And we're needing your help on this one, and that's why we've teamed up with our friends at the Washington State Council of Firefighters for Operation Warm Coats for Kids. We're going to try to put as many kids in a brand new American-made jacket this winter. $20 puts a brand new coat on a child in need. And this year, our goal is to help get 2,500 kids their winter coats that they deserve. It's cold out there. We're inviting you to join us, please, if you can. Give whatever you got at KISW.com. The kids need it. And Coats for Kids is a great organization. And 2,500 coats, that's a good number. If we can get more than that, obviously.
That would be even better.
That would be better. But anything you can give, please. KISW.com. All right, here's our random question. Question 206-803-ROB.
Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, dude.
Hola.
Taylor, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's see what we got here for you, Taylor. Okay. When you were in school, what would you say was your biggest academic achievement? Steve, I know you won a writing contest.
Okay, let me qualify this. It was a citywide competition on a history paper. I came in second place through all of Baltimore City. Now, that sounded good. My parents are proud. I got a trophy. And I was terrible in school, so this was a big deal. The truth is, and I never shared this with my parents, was there was a kid a grade before me who had done the exact same things. They just entered you into the competition in 10th or 11th grade. And it was automatic, right? So he wrote a paper on Greek mythology. He wasn't the brightest cat in the world, but he still had the paper. So he gave me his full paper, and I just rewrote it as though he were literate. Okay. And so I got the achievement, but I truly did nothing to get. Basically, I plagiarized.
Okay.
But I won.
All right, but you won the contest.
But I did, well, second place, yeah.
Okay. So what was your big award, maybe, that you got in school?
So, I just wasn't good at school. Like, I could listen, but I just didn't like sitting all day, and nothing really clicked. And then my senior year of high school, I took metal shop, which they teach you how to weld, how to bend metal, measurement stuff. And weird, all of a sudden, math became like a beautiful mind to me. It flowed through my brain. Well, they gave us 5 projects through the semester. I ended up doing all of them and created 4, like wrote the blueprints. I ended up getting 160% in that class, which I didn't know you could get more than 100, like a super A plus.
It's funny how you talk about, man, I got all this math. I got 160% in this class. They just throw it out the window at that point, but we got you.
Yeah.
But the teacher, he told me, he's like, I'm going to use these projects that you created out of your mind. Like, I made a Longhorn bowl out of metal, a chair, and he was like, I'm going to keep using these projects for my students later. And I got student of the semester, which was, my mom was like, oh, he's not supposed to be in special ed classes. Okay.
Well, my problem would be like, no, I'm taking this chair home, brother.
Yeah,
but
what do you do now?
Yeah.
Has that translated into anything you do in your life?
So I am a team lead on a company in the area that builds these things that like fly through the sky.
All right, so you're still dealing with metal.
Yes, these things that fly through the sky.
Still building, but I'm smart. I swear I'm smart.
Now, did you taking metal shop, did that kind of inspire you to go in the direction you did when you realize I enjoy it and I do understand math if it's applied to something that I care about?
I mean, yeah. Growing up, my favorite toys were Legos, so I was like building and stuff like that. And so I like to think that it attributed to what I'm doing, because if you have good hands-on like knowledge, you look at something and you're like, okay, here to here, this doesn't make sense. I can make it make sense. And I just feel super smart when I do it, which is awesome.
That makes
my wife
sense.
doesn't get it, but
my brother was a Lego guy. Anything engineering, he wanted to be able to deconstruct it because he was convinced he could put it back together. And for the most part, he could, and that translates to what he does for a living. The thing I find with math with a lot of kids, right? So a lot of kids just don't like it because there's no wiggle room. It is what it is, right? But my son always bitches about math, but I realize he learned more about math watching football with me. Seriously. Scores like 23-7. And I was like, what does this team have to do to come back? And he would rattle it off in a heartbeat. And I go, dude, you know your math if it applies to something you care about.
Right. Watch somebody who can do old school scoring at a bowling alley.
Right. In a heartbeat.
They just come up with a number. I'm like, oh, this is this, then you do that. Then
I mean, luckily, you don't have to anymore.
You don't have to. But like my grandmother, man, she's one of those people who can just sit down and do that type of math because that's what she used to bowl for, the majority of her life with her girls' league and everything else. But that was like, when I go bowling with her, I'm like, how she would try to teach me.
I never got it as a kid, no.
I could not do that. I could keep a book of a baseball game, but that's really not math. It's just like ball strike out.
Trying to watch football with my wife and explain the scoring. She has, keep in mind, 2 master's degrees and some other 3rd degree. I don't remember. But explaining football, which, I mean, to us, we're like, oh, it's simple. They do this. It gets you this points. She looks at me like I'm telling her trigonometry.
Yeah, in her defense, American football, we all live in the States, we're used to it, but it is very strange.
But that's what I'm saying.
A lot of the rules, how the scoring works, when it's worth 2, when it's worth 1.
But if you care, you don't really. And that's the whole thing with my kid. He cares about football, so I love it when he tells me they should go for 2 points now. But if you ask him why, and he breaks it down, and I'm like, that's math.
Yeah.
Stop saying you hate math.
We talk about the fact all the time. If you play any kind of organized sports, and even if it's little league or you played in a pub league, the chances of you winning a championship in your lifetime, they're very slim. And if you do, it's a big deal, but it might have been in the 4th grade when you won a championship, and you're never going to win one again.
Right.
Yeah. But academics is harder because the field is bigger, and there's more people involved in the school than there are on individual teams.
But also, they assume that whatever you, quote-unquote, learned last year, you still remember, so they just start new again.
Yeah.
You know, somebody here, and I've maintained this pretty much my entire life, it says, I learned the metric system because I started buying drugs. And I was saying, man, if you're in a room full of people and you say, well, how many pounds does a kilo? The person who blurts it out instantly, I'm like, they work with drugs.
No, they work with them. They probably dealt them.
That's what I'm saying. There's not many things in the States where the metric system is what we choose to use. There's a few things. You can say a 16-millimeter film. You go, okay. Most people don't really get it, but it's just what we call it. You move on. But as far as weight differences and all that, I'm like, that's a cat that has
grams and ounces only shows up with drugs.
Right, that's it, right? I mean, honest to God, so if you can blurt that stuff out, I'd just go like, hey, man, when this thing's over, let's talk.
I know I got a ribbon. I was either 2nd or 3rd. I didn't win in a science fair project, probably in 5th or 6th grade. That's as close as I've come from an academic standpoint. I know you were the homecoming king. It is still academic related, although it, not so much the
grades don't matter.
The book aspect. Well, it's the same thing with student council or any of these, or president.
Right, you don't have to have good grades necessarily.
You got to have grades that keep you eligible.
Correct.
Because I was the senior class president my senior year, and traditionally it had always been somebody really kind of book smart and nerdy. So then I had a buddy. So then he was like, "Well, if you could do it, I'll try it next year." So then he did it, but his grades were so horrible, he got impeached.
Wow,
he got impeached?
Oh yeah, they kicked him out of the office.
Huh?
You got to make you had to maintain at least like a 2.0. It wasn't that. Look, I could do it. It wasn't that hard,
right? Yeah. Just get a C.
I'm not sure that guy has graduated high school yet.
Really?
Because he didn't get to walk because his grades weren't good enough.
Right.
And then it's one of those things where they were like, "Hey, you got to go to the community college," and they have some, if you don't test well enough, you have to take some remedial courses.
Yeah.
So those are high school credits. You're like, but to this day, I'm almost positive he never went and did it.
But what's more frustrating? All right, so most of us have made the point, like, look, we weren't the best in school, so anytime you got a passing grade, that was good enough. When I got to graduate from high school, good enough. Did not care. To this day, still don't care. There's my brother, all right, super brain. And when we went to his graduation, they would rattle off like the top 3 people in Egypt, science, math, blah, 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 blah. He was always number 2, and I always remember this girl's name, well, as a grown-ass woman now, Julie Chen. She beat him in everything.
David Chen was our valedictorian.
But same thing, right? So my brother, he would have like a 99.2 average, second only to Julie Chen, who had a 99.6 average, and it pissed him off. It used to drive him crazy. So I'm always wondering, what's worse? I'm sure it doesn't nag at him at this day, but he was kind of disappointed after the graduation because you kept coming in second place to this girl who clearly is a brain. I was like, bro, I got a C. And I'm sure they curved up and gave me a 70, just get me the hell out of the school. I am perfectly happy. We had very different emotions at our high school graduation.
It's like the sports argument, right? You could ask a lot of people, right? Ask Buffalo Bills fans.
All right.
Right? After that first Super Bowl, they basically get blown out every game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So some teams go to a Super Bowl, get blown out. Then you say, I wish we put up a better fight. Ask a Seahawks fan. When you lose that game on the 1 yard. So, that's always an argument in sports, too, that I have with people.
How close do you want to get to winning?
Is it worse to lose at the very end and just get blown out, or is it better to at least put up the good fight and almost win?
So here's the thing. So for me, if we're going Super Bowl analogies, I was the Broncos versus the Seahawks. But I still got to graduate. Still got to go to the Super Bowl. Right?
Yeah.
But I got the S kicked out of me. Wasn't close. You almost wonder if I should have been there. And then my brother is the Seahawks losing Super Bowl, where it's like, why don't we just run the damn ball? Julie Chen intercepted the damn ball. In spite of all the work we did to get down the field, Julie Chen picked it off. Ruined it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's tougher, man. But here's the difference. More people, and even outside of Seattle, will bring up the losing Super Bowl than the winning Super Bowl. Because you bring up the Broncos, you just kick the piss out of
the Seahawks have to win another Super Bowl for people to stop bringing up the one they lost.
That is true. That is true.
I'll also say, when I went to my nephew's graduation in June, the girl that was the valedictorian there, I felt like a piece of crap. Well, she was like the president of every club. did some sports, like did all this extracurricular, and was like going to the Naval Academy. And I was just like, she's just a better person than I am. Like overall.
Yes. Reese, we asked what was your biggest academic achievement. By the way, if you're on hold there for the random question call back, we had to reset the phone lines after that last call. 206-803-ROB.
Oh, hey, Miles. My biggest academic achievement was I got an answer right at a class at Johns Hopkins University.
What was the question? Was it history?
Yeah, it was related to history in a labor union.
I mean, look, but don't feel bad about it, but you got it. That's my point.
Right, and I had already worked in the AFL and CIO, so I was just, and she was like, oh, sure. The guy that came with Steve Adams. Like, you can answer.
You know what? Oh, really?
And then
But you went on to that class voluntarily.
Yeah, it was hammered.
Yeah,
it was like
hammered.
I had the day off. It was like his last. Yeah, it was like his last day of school. We had both bartended, stayed up all night. And he was like, "You want to go to class?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And I remember us like smoking like menthol cigarettes on the way over there. So she's like, "Yeah, sure. That you go ahead, answer." Then I answered. And she's like, "That's exactly right."
Don't you love those?
Did she know you weren't in the class?
Of course.
All right. Okay. So it was a smaller class.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like a giant one. There was only like 15 of us in there.
I had that moment in third grade. I always remember this. It was a full third grade assembly. So we're all sitting, crisscross applesauce is that what they call that crap now? But we're sitting on the floor, and they had, it was an astronaut, which I'm old enough that the moon landing had not been that long ago, so it's kind of exciting. I don't even know if he's one of the Apollo astronauts or just an astronaut. But anyway, he walked in, and he's espousing all these fun things about space. I wasn't been a space nerd. It helped that my brother was, too, so he just told me things, and I retained it. But I remember this guy says, other than the sun, he said, what's the closest star to planet Earth? And everybody raises their hand and goes, other than the sun. And all the hands went down, and I remember I kept mine up. And he picked me, and he had that stupid smile that adults do when they're already condescending to you.
Yep.
Okay, little bud, it's like Alpha Centauri. He was like that. Mm-hmm. That actually is the answer. And I remember I said, I know. That's why I said it.
Raise, we asked what was your biggest academic achievement. Most teens head to college after graduating high school. Peter Park is a little ahead of his time. The 18-year-old was sworn in last week as what may be California's youngest practicing prosecutor. According to a release from the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, where Park has been serving as a law clerk since August, Park found out last month he passed the famously rigorous bar exam he took in July at 17.
Damn.
Perhaps making him the youngest person ever to do so, but the California State Bar, they can't confirm he's the youngest because they've never even thought about keeping track of how old someone is. But they say it's quite an extraordinary feat, one worth celebrating for sure. He kicked off his high school career in 2019 at the age of 13. At Oxford Academy in Cyprus. Now, thanks to California law, he was able to take proficiency exams and enroll in a 4-year JD program at Northwestern California University School of Law at the same time. So he graduated high school in 2 years, then did the same at law school earlier this year. He is expected to be sworn in on Wednesday. The DA's office hired him as deputy district attorney this week. We had to wait until he turned 18. As for how Park feels about his accomplishment and the career he now has ahead of him, he says per the release, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. It required some discipline and strategy, and I made it in the end. I do want to be a prosecutor because I'm driven by a moral obligation to uphold liberty, equality, and justice in society, and I admire how prosecutors keep our community safe and bringing closure to people who are victims.
Yeah, I was nothing like that at that age, man.
And I don't want an 18-year-old kid prosecuting me.
I would just feel so bad, especially if you know he's right. Like, God damn.
But not only that, though, but like, I hope the prosecutor has a little more life experience and can maybe fathom something. Like, I feel like he's going to be very strict by the rule.
Oh, he's going to be by the book,
right? Like, you're doing all 22 of those months. I'll be like, come on, dude.
Right, there's going to be no wiggle room.
Like, time served? Like, no, you're doing all 22 months. Like, just, you know what? You can't even drink, you little pipsqueak.
Until he turns about 22. Then I get the feeling, you know, Your Honor, I advise a lenient sentence. Time served.
I want somebody who can sympathize with why I did what I did.
Yeah. How about new rule? If you're not old enough to drink at a bar, you're not old enough to prosecute somebody.
Especially for the reasons you'd probably prosecute me.
Oh, I can't believe you did that. Of course you can't. You're 19. You have no idea what life is like.
Have you been with a woman?
Why am I yelling like I'm already guilty?
You got hair in your armpits yet? Damn.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, your mother's very attractive.
And she's my age.
Yeah, I think I'm older than her.
Hello, McCall. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
McCall, welcome to the program. And the random question. All right, let's see here. Let's give you this one.
All right.
What is the craziest family secret that you ever found out?
Oh, God. Really? This is the question?
Well, you don't have to name names. You can just say what the secret is. One of my relatives I found out did this.
Right.
All right. My sister sending nudes to a Tinder date, I guess, would maybe be one of the craziest.
Wait,
I might have more. But
sending nudes to who?
a Tinder date that I had that she's never met.
Wait. She sent nudes of herself to your Tinder date?
Yes.
On purpose?
He found her on Snapchat. So, yeah.
Who ended up going out on a date with him?
Oh, I went on multiple dates with him. Didn't know about this and then found out from her boyfriend.
Okay, so you had no idea that the guy you're dating or that you're going on occasional dates with has naked photos of your sister that she intentionally sent him.
Yep.
And so do you confront your sister about this, or how does this go down?
I have not. She's a lot younger than me, so no, I have not.
Okay. So to this day, she doesn't know that you know.
Nope.
That's pretty strange. I don't know why she'd do that to your date.
That is weird. I don't think she knew. Did she know that was your date?
Yes, she definitely
All right,
did because
okay.
I lived up in we
All
lived in different states, so she definitely knew who this person was.
And do you know if this person ever went on a date with her or responded?
He responded for sure, and I responded to him to stay away and stop talking to him. But
Okay. Yep.
Okay, that's fair.
Makes sense.
Man, oh man, that is not what I expected to hear.
Here's a crazy one. What is the craziest family secret you ever found out? Thomas Randall was dying of lung cancer, had a secret. In March of 2021, with his daughter at his bedside in their Boston home, and after his first chemotherapy session, he made a confession. He was a fugitive and one for more than 5 decades, because more than 50 years earlier, when he was 20, he robbed an Ohio bank of $215,000, and his real name was not Thomas Randall, but Theodore Conrad. He implored his daughter not to look into the case, but after this bombshell revelation, his daughter Ashley, she didn't sleep much that night, so she did what most curious people would do. I'm alone in my childhood bedroom, and I Googled Ted Conrad missing. The first thing that came up said something like, vault teller robs bank. I was like, oh my God, this is my dad. And there were hundreds and hundreds of articles about him. And with every click, her father's dark past unspooled before her eyes. Thomas Randall was a car salesman in Massachusetts and a country club golf pro who adored his wife and only child. He doted on his daughter and showed up for her soccer games in khaki pants, fast cars, and an ironic twist. He also donated to local police charities, spent hours watching NCIS and other crime shows. But back in Cleveland, he's Ted Conrad, an elusive bank robber. Now, he was barely out of his teens when he pulled off one of the biggest heists in Ohio history, the equivalent of $1.7 million today.
Wow, okay.
Now, he did this inspired by his favorite movie, The Thomas Crown Affair. I told him, I looked you up, there's 1 million articles about you, and they're all still looking for you, in case you didn't know. And we have to tell Mom, said his daughter. Conrad's heist also sounded like a story from a movie. On July 11, 1969, he showed up for work as a teller at Society National Bank in Cleveland. It was a Friday. It was his birthday weekend, so he bought a bottle of whiskey and a pack of cigarettes during his break. At the end of the day, he went into the vault and quietly stuffed $215,000 into a paper bag and walked away from his old life, never to be seen again. The week of his disappearance, then, Apollo 11 landed the first humans on the moon. So as far as the headlines go,
right, it's done.
He went from being at the top of the paper to buried in the back. But investigators, they never gave up. They had tips. California, Hawaii, Texas, Oregon. Leads all turned out to be false. He was on America's Most Wanted. His confession turned the Randall family upside down. The daughter said she and her mother knew her dad likely only had a few months to live, so they decided not to share his secret with authorities. The last thing she wanted, she said, was to see her ailing 71-year-old father hauled off to prison. But after he did pass away, they alerted authorities.
I mean, if my grandfather or father dropped that on me, I'd be, honestly, man, that is pretty cool.
More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
Did you know that most people wait 26 days to see an OBGYN? If you're dealing with a vaginal infection, herpes outbreak, or STI symptoms, you already know that's too long to wait. At hellowisp.com, you can get a prescription in as little as 3 hours. Contact a doctor online and have the care you need delivered discreetly to your home for free in all 50 states, or sent to your local pharmacy for pickup same day. Use code HEART, HEART, on your order for 15% off, only at hellowisp.com. That's hello-wisp.com.
Maximize the compensation for your injury claim with Phillips Law Firm. With over 80 years of combined legal experience, they won't allow the insurance companies to dictate what's good enough for you. Whether it's an auto accident or workplace injury, contact Phillips Law Firm today. If they don't win, you don't pay.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Cut up our categories today. The states with more cows than people. And your favorite candy bars. We'll do your guesses as good as mine right after emails and our random question. Question 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola. Justin, welcome to the program. And the last random question of the year. Let's see here. What do I got for you? All right, let's go with this one. What did you try to smuggle, and where did you try to smuggle it?
Drugs, booze, other contraband.
My dad used to smuggle snacks in the movie theater. What was that, Justin?
I said I've smuggled, I've gotten booze into, like, stadiums and stuff. Trying to think anything that...
What is your booze smuggling technique? Everyone seems to have something different to be able to sneak different things in.
All you got to do is have the airplane bottles, make sure they're plastic, and then I wear spandex, kind of like jock underwear, and just stuff them in my thighs.
All right, okay, I got you.
Not a bad technique. Where have you done that before?
Seahawks games.
Okay.
Craft. Right. No, I think just pretty much Seahawks games and maybe the occasional Mariners game.
All right. Fair enough. The weirdest one I've ever seen. I saw someone get busted and got thrown out of a bar because they brought in their own minis. And really? I thought to myself, they had their own minis. It was a woman. She had them in her purse, and she brought them in. And I found out all of this after the fact. I was not witness to any of this, but I was like, why is the manager came over and there was and the bartender, I don't know if she poured it. She was sitting at the bar. I don't know if she
poured her own drinks. I understand.
Yes. Yeah, you got it.
If you just have them on, we don't care. But if you're bringing sand to the beach, man.
But I didn't see it. But I was like, she did what? He's like, yeah, she smuggled in her own booze. I was like,
that's very weird.
I don't know if she was putting the glass down by her waist and then pouring it into the glass.
Well, people still want to hang out in the bar. They just don't have money.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair enough. Yeah, that is fair enough. It is.
I would think, how old was she? I haven't seen anybody do that.
30s, maybe?
All right, I was going to say, I knew people that used to do that, but everybody was 21 to 25.
Exactly.
I haven't seen anybody do it in years.
And you're right. You said smuggling candy and food into the movie theater. Definitely seen that one a lot. Mm-hmm. And it helps because a lot of times that you're doing, I would not smuggle candy into a movie theater for me. I'm a grown-ass man. But if I'm taking my son and 8 of his friends, hey, guys, since this is going to be on me, you each have a bag of M&Ms. But here's the difference. They don't frisk kids, right? They don't shake kids down. They'll shake me down, even though they know damn well if there's any sugary contraband here, it's you.
You know where I've snuck probably used a flask the most? It's holiday events. You're going to go walk around, look at Christmas trees. Bring a little flask with you. Christmas lights. Are you going to go
to the zoo and do the zoo lights? Whatever they call that. I won't say that I did that last year, but damn right I did it last year when I heard we're going with this other family to see the zoo lights. Now, that said, I was not excited to do it, so I absolutely loaded up on the booze for myself. But it's a very good event.
I've done it with a friend, and we just had a little flask of Fireball. Looked at all the lights. I think I did it once too. One of those mazes for the around Halloween.
Oh, like the corn maze or whatever.
The haunted, you walk through it or whatever. But same thing. There's a group of like 5 of us, and one of the girls was like, "Hey, brought my flask." I was like, "Nice,
Cool,
Right.
nice move, and a lot of weddings."
Not to be busted by, a manager someplace or an officer of the law or anything, but the ones that I felt the most guilty about were family members of mine, not even friends, family members of mine that had a dry wedding. Specifically, my brother. And very religious. He's very religious. His wife's family is incredibly religious. They had mints, little peppermint mints at the wedding.
Yeah.
In a bowl kind of thing. I have a whole handful of these in my pocket. Every time I was going to the bathroom and taking a pull, it was like, I don't think anyone ever talked to me where I did not have a mint in my mouth the entire wedding.
Yeah, because you got to
suck it on a mint the entire time. Because I did not want to get busted. And I had not met a lot of my brother's wife's family members before.
Sure.
Extended family.
All right.
So, being introduced to all of them, and they're all very prim and proper. They don't drink. Maybe they do, but it was not going to happen at this occasion.
And that's my brother did a dry wedding as well, which I really, because he's not particularly religious. His wife's not particularly religious, which typically is the reason why, right? So they decided to dry, not the wedding, the reception. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. So the nice thing was where they held the reception was separate from the church. And this is on the East Coast, so all of your quote unquote ballrooms and all that kind of crap are attached to a strip mall. So when we got there was a liquor store like 2 doors down. And I don't say anything, but went into the reception and the table I'm seated at, there's my aunt, there's a few other people around. I said, I'm going to go out to smoke. Well, one of the older gentlemen that was there, I'll go there with him, blows up a cigarette. So you go out to smoke and he goes, listen here, man. There's so-and-so liquors right there. I said, dude, that's why I'm out here. I'm not even here to have a cigarette. So we went down there, and we grabbed a bunch of minis, just stuffed them in the inside of our little tuxedo coats. When we came back and word got out, and it stayed pretty quiet, but word got out that we had minis. I mean, people are coming up to, hey, listen, brother, next time you smoke, can you grab me? I'm like, yeah, you got it, man.
Yeah.
Well, even at weddings, like a lot of weddings, and I get it, they're not going to serve shots.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair,
and a lot of times
fair.
the bride and groom are like, hey. So my last cousin that got married like 2 summers ago, Kelly, she got married, and that was the thing. You couldn't order shots from obviously it was open bar, just no shots. So one of our other friends who grew up with her, him and his wife, they had parked there, or somebody had driven them, and they had a bottle of like whiskey or bourbon in their car. Now I know Rusty, right?
Yeah.
He's closer with my cousins, but I grew up with Rusty. So like finally word trickles down to me that Rusty's got the bottle in the car. So I'm like, Rusty, and he's like, God damn it, man. Like, I just walked back in. So basically, he didn't care that people were drinking this. He was just tired of walking to the car and back. He's like, I want to dance with my wife. I was like, can I have your keys? He's like, here, just take them.
I was going to say, just hand the keys. Just give me the file, man.
Reason we asked, what did you smuggle and where? A tourist tried to smuggle not 1, but 2 otters in his pants in Thailand, and a dog. The 22-year-old from Taiwan was detained at the international airport in Bangkok.
Go ahead, try to say it.
It is going to be Suvarnabhumi?
Maybe.
I don't know. He was due to get on the flight back to Taipei. Security suspicions were aroused by what appeared to be a large bulge protruding below the man's waistband. Scans revealed what turned out to be not 1, but 2 Asian small-clawed otters and a prairie dog concealed in his trousers.
I got 2 live otters and a prairie dog.
Stuffed into 3 separate socks and then taped into the man's boxer shorts. The animals are believed to have been purchased from a market in the Thai capital.
Does that seem dangerous to you? I got 2 otters and a prairie dog taped next to my genitalia.
The smallest of some 13 species of otter and native to the region, Asian small-clawed otters are listed as vulnerable on the International Union Conservation List. Although more commonly found in the grasslands of the United States, prairie dogs are also listed as an endangered species by the organization. Well, they held the suspect, who is understood to be facing charges under a number of local laws in violation of the Animal Protection Act. Animals, meanwhile, were taken in by the country's Wildlife Conservation Office. Thailand is not a gateway to smuggle exotic animals out of the country. They say we will catch anyone who tries to take animals on planes. However bizarre, recent discovery pales by comparison to a similar incident at the same airport last year, when 2 women were caught trying to board a flight to India with more than 100 live animals concealed in their suitcases.
Come on.
They had 50 chameleons, 35 turtles, 20 snakes, 2 porcupines, 2 armadillos were all found in their bags.
I do know someone, this was back in the early 80s when they owned a parrot or something like that, okay? And we asked, where did you get the parrot? Did you get it from the pet store? And then there's this weird pause. They're a slightly older couple. They look at each other, and then the wife kind of shrugs like, go ahead and tell him. So they smuggled this thing out of the Bahamas into the United States, which obviously is illegal when you can go to the pet store and buy one, but they literally smuggled it from the Bahamas. And they said the only time we got nervous, and security definitely was not what it is now, but they hid it in one of their carry-on bags. And they said, we knew they weren't paying attention because you realize there's a moving skeleton of a bird as it goes to this x-ray machine. So we're kind of waiting for them to come after us. We were prepared to play stupid. No one said a word. So they smuggled this thing back, and they had a pet parrot from the Bahamas.
Huh.
Not something I would recommend, but it's something that they did. Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Justin, welcome to the program. Random question. All right. I'm sure you can relate to one of these two. Have you ever been dumped, or have you ever dumped someone else, and why?
Oh, man. Yeah, I did dump this one girl back. It was like a year out of high school, and she just seemed cool at first, and then when it got to get down and dirty, she got real freaky and not in a fun way. It was like knives and hatchets and a bunch of other stuff. Turns out she was like crazy into like the whole juggalo scene, and then wanted me to like be a part of that too. And I dropped that after that pretty fast.
Can't I just have a Fago soda and call it a day, or whatever it is? Fanta, what do they drink? Fago, I believe? Fago pop.
Fago.
Yeah.
So she didn't reveal this to you until you were already in the relationship.
Oh, yeah, no. It was basically like right after karaoke, getting into it, and then all of a sudden it's like, let me bring up the fun stuff. And I'm thinking like toys and all of that. Well, these toys are pretty freaking sharp. So I was like, yep, nope, out.
Okay. Did it end that quick, like in that moment?
Oh, no, I let it finish up first, and then...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone break up with you?
Yeah, I actually have, and it was a long-term relationship, and then it was basically things weren't going where she wanted it to go, and then she just like dropped it off, and I was like, all right, cool.
Okay.
But anyway, she wanted a longer-term relationship, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't get the hint that we're going ring shopping for like a Christmas gift, and when she thought we weren't doing it for a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, you want some jewelry? Yeah, sure. What do you want? She didn't get the hint that it was a ring for another reason.
Aha.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That does make sense. Reason we asked, have you ever been dumped, or has anyone ever dumped you? If the person you're with texts and says, can we talk today, brace yourself. You're more likely to get dumped today than any other day of the year.
Yeah, once you say it out loud, it's out there in the universe, man.
December 11th was dubbed Breakup Day back in 2008.
Oh, you meant today?
Today.
Saying the date.
Oh,
This
Jesus,
day, right
okay.
now. Someone analyzed Facebook status updates, found a ton of people break up exactly 2 weeks before Christmas, and also found there tend to be more breakups on Mondays in general, so the 11th is kind of a double whammy this year. Experts think there are a few reasons behind it. Holidays are stressful, you might be having second thoughts about the person meeting your family, and a surprising number of us will break up just to get out of buying someone a gift, believe it or not.
Damn, man.
Turning the calendar also represents a fresh start for a lot of people, so if things aren't going well, it may feel like a natural time to cut your losses and just move on for next year. The day of the year you're least likely to get dumped, that would be Christmas Day.
Well, sure.
Because they say that's just cruel. But don't assume you're safe if you make it to the 25th. A poll also found that we tend to avoid breakups this time of year, so we're not alone for the holidays. But on the 26th, breakups will start trending up before peaking again in March.
It's unbelievable. I have known people that did it on the 20th. I'm like, dude, you should have just broken up before Christmas. Waiting literally the day after Christmas is not much better.
It's not much better. And if you had to estimate, all right, so December 11th, this is the big breakup day today. Sorry if you got that text, by the way. How long do you think your partner's been thinking about it before they sent it? Like, it's one thing if you break up because you had a big knockdown, drag-out argument. It's understood, right? Maybe you weren't thinking this before today, but today we crossed a threshold that neither of us are prepared to come back from. But when it's, hey, man, I did not know anything was wrong. Like, how long has this been on your mind? How long have you been hating your time with me?
A while.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not
depends,
just an immediate decision.
Yeah, I don't think you just come to that decision. So it's usually been like a week or two, I would say.
The only time that happens is when circumstances dictate that something has happened to the point where you cannot move on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right, somebody you find out your girl's cheating on you. That's different. I didn't. Wasn't planning on breaking up, but I'm not staying with this whore.
Damn.
Sorry, it's just the way I felt, Mike.
There's also subtle signs. If you truly pay attention to who you're with, there are those signs that they're just not feeling it anymore. Maybe,
Mike, you're asking us to do too much.
I guess, but maybe they haven't crossed the line just yet. But you can feel when you're starting to lose them, and so maybe get ahead of the horse. Just ask them like, how are we doing? Are we okay? Like, are we gonna make it to the end of the season?
But here's the problem with doing that: if they're fine or something else is just distracting them because that's where they are in their life, well, now the word you want to break up. What? Why are you asking if we're okay?
From our angle,
okay? Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know,
dude
man.
shouldn't do a damn thing. Like, we'll be fine.
Just say nothing. Just say absolutely nothing.
All right, I'm going to give you guys one
Living in
final
blissful ignorance.
One final random question for the year. Okay. All right. What would you guys say is or was your favorite and least favorite board game when you were growing up? The world of board games, what was your favorite and your least favorite board game?
Growing up is tough. I hated Monopoly. I still do. Never enjoyed it. It never seemed fun.
I thought it took too much time. It took too long.
And like Trivial Pursuit came along, Cranium came along, but I was a little bit older. So I got to think, as a kid, you know what I loved, man? Honestly, Operation.
That was
like
a
if
good
they
game.
broke out Operation, I'm like, oh, it's go time. I sucked at it, but I enjoyed it.
One of my favorites was Battleship.
That was a good one.
I enjoyed playing Battleship as far as that type of game is concerned.
Battleship was a lot of fun.
The older I got, I really liked Scrabble. Yeah. I really did enjoy Trivia Pursuit, except for the brown pie, which
nobody liked the brown pie.
Was just sitting there for an hour trying to get that one piece of pie, which is never.
They made it
happen.
brown for a reason, Mike. Because this one is.
I remember as a kid, me and my brother loved Monopoly, but we would only play it around the holiday when we had like days off to complete.
Right, because it goes on forever.
But I mean, I remember like in Candyland or like the game of Life.
Life was fun. I did enjoy the game of Life.
What was the game? Was it War? What was the game that was
Risk?
Risk was Risk the one.
and Risk.
Stratego and Risk. Those were ones that I wasn't mature enough and couldn't understand.
Yeah, I didn't get it. And my brother was into
play the
those.
game.
I was always a Clue fan when I was a kid.
That's another great
Clue
game.
was fun.
I'm with you against Monopoly because if it ever came out, it was too many people that were older than me and were better at it played with me, and it was too long and drawn out, and it was just a slow death. Dominoes, actually, I liked. I know it's not technically a board game, but we played Dominoes a handful of times.
Dominoes is great.
I really enjoyed Cranium when it did come out. Just the different things that that came
Are you
along
doing
with it.
charades? Are you sculpting?
What
Are
was
you
the
drawing?
one where you had to basically lie? Is it Boulder Dash?
Yeah, there was right.
Mike, this game is perfect for like people like us because part of the game is BSing.
Sure.
And then I have to decide like, does Mike know this or is he just full of S?
Right, and celebrity.
But you're like poker in a way.
Well,
I mean, not
but in poker you don't go. Actually, I have 4 of a kind.
Okay,
like you have to give an explanation of something, and people have to decide if you're full of S or if you're telling the truth.
And I will say, I believe the greatest game right now to me to sit down and play is Cards Against Humanity.
That's a great game.
It is so joyful. It is so funny. It is so repugnant, so repulsive, but so hilarious. Everyone I know who plays it ends up having the best time.
There was one that came out when I was younger. We were a big movie family when I was growing up. We had movie nights all the doggone time. We loved watching movies, and so there was a game that actually was for people like us that was called Scene It. Scene being SCENE.
Okay, all right.
And it was one of those DVD games that you plug in there, and then you roll and you play. In tandem with the board and on the screen, and so they showed you scenes from a movie, and they were like, "What was the first word that was said?" Stuff like that.
Okay,
and it was a really really cool game, and they got 100 different iterations of it too for anything that you like.
Reason we asked what's your favorite, least favorite board game. This might be a good gift for the holiday season for the older people in your family and life. Toy makers they've begun tweaking original classic games or coming out with new ones that embrace an audience that's been around for a while. People more than 65 years old, and they're being marketed as a way for older folks to sharpen their brain skills as well as allay loneliness by helping them connect with family members and friends. Toy maker Hasbro, they penned a licensing deal with Ageless Innovation, which designs toys with older people in mind. So they're coming out with new versions of Scrabble, Trivial Pursuit, and Life, all with a Generations tagline that offer larger fonts on tiles and bigger game pieces.
All right.
The versions of Life and Trivial Pursuit also have expanded their content to cater to younger and older people alike. For instance, the answer to a question in Trivial Pursuit about fitness can be Jack LaLanne or Zumba, depending on the player's age.
Damn.
New offerings hit the stores in August, so they are, I guess they're already out now. Next year, it'll unveil a new twist called Brain Bolt Boost that has bigger buttons and is more simplified. Meanwhile, an app connecting robotic dogs called Dog E from WowWee that was originally marketed to kids and families is finding a buzz now with the over 65 crowd.
Really?
Next year, the dog, which can tell the player when it's hungry, when it wants love, or when it wants to play, will see some new twists.
I need love.
Including a voice command feature as well as memory games on the app. We continue to think about what the issues are for older adults and what they are facing. We're finding that joy in play can have meaningful impact. These strategies come as the pandemic has changed toy buying habits, and more people are getting together and playing games once again.
Oh, good.
Coming up, your guess is as good as mine. Our categories, we have the states that have more cows than people, and your top 10 favorite candy bars, along with emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. If they don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm. Justice for you.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Let's be honest, preventing pregnancy is a pain. Whether you're picking birth control up every month or running to grab Plan B, it costs too much time, money, and effort. All while your partner gets to go about their day uninterrupted. Wisp is changing the game. At hellowisp.com, you can get the reproductive care you need without stepping foot in a doctor's office or waiting in line. Have birth control delivered on your schedule and get emergency contraceptive before you need it. Use code CARE, C-A-R-E, at hellowisp.com for 15% off your first order. That's hello.wisp.com and have it delivered for free.
Maximize the compensation for your injury claim with Phillips Law Firm. With over 80 years of combined legal experience, they won't allow the insurance companies to dictate what's good enough for you. Whether it's an auto accident or workplace injury, contact Phillips Law Firm today. If they don't win, you don't pay.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Our categories on your guess as good as mine. We've got the states with the more cows than people. More cows than people in these states. And your 10 favorite candy bars. Well, first time for a few emails to the men's room at KISW.com.
Oh, you son of a whore.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Let's see one from our random questions today. Ola Bachola's oldest thing I own is my maternal grandfather's school workbook from 2nd grade.
Damn.
This is circa 1928. He passed when my mom was only 4 months old, so she never knew him. It's awesome, though, to be able to have his handwriting as a memory. Love the show, guys. Helps me tolerate the S traffic on my commute home. That from Christy in Monroe. As we move on to the birthday shout-outs. Greetings, gentlemen. Today is my sister's birthday, and she would like a symphony of farts from Mike. And since she is single and ready to mingle, if the dirty Germans are free for an evening to celebrate Bavarian style, that would be great. That from Nick, the pizza guy.
Just so.
Long night.
Yeah, that last song you hear is a preview of what you'll be hearing tonight from the front. No. As we make Bavarian cream.
Yeah, we'll switch you up like Supretzel. As it's the cream. Bavaria will flow.
Yeah, play it together. Yeah.
God, I hate to admit it. I was in my 20s and once told a girl, "It's okay, you farted." She goes, "That's not a fart."
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I know what you were doing there, Ted.
Yeah, right. Obviously, it's like you were right. You're the one that was back there for the last 5 minutes. What do you think that is? Like, I don't know. You know what? I like this sex. I have no idea how women's bodies work.
What's up,
guys?
You know me. It's okay.
Come on, awesome.
Smells different.
Right? It doesn't even smell, so don't sweat it.
Come on, awesome wife of 20 years. Get a birthday shout out today. It's her 5th anniversary of turning 39. So all she wants for her day is a fish sandwich. And the dirty Santa German's talking about what package she will get for Christmas. Thanks, guys. That from the Captain J, Chief Medical Entomologist for the Men's Room Army.
I'll have a fish sandwich.
Yeah, tonight we will be calling you ho 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 and off your flaming Yule log. It will burn.
Yeah, so end up with some marks all over your body. And also be careful of the fiery log.
Yeah, plan on sliding down your chimney.
Guys, I want to wish a happy birthday to my husband of 23 years, Rob, pronounced Pixel Freak. Turns 51 today. Listens to your show daily. Amazing father. He doesn't let our boys hear the show yet, but he's a loving husband, and he puts the dirty Germans to shame when it's mommy-daddy time. Gonna get a Pat Sajak, a Leroy Jenkins, and the best sound effects in the biz. The cat giving the birth thing. That from the Saucy Winch.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
That is the best sound effect in the biz. I agree.
Guys, today is my handsome husband Bill's 53rd birthday. He's a huge fan, listens to you guys religiously. Can I get the dirty Germans? Talking about his job working at a golf course. Specifically teaching me to improve my putting with my new Super Stroke grip. Maybe throw in some Leroy Jenkins, too. Cheers, guys, and keep on rocking. That from Melanie.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Melody. Yeah, let me tell you first of all, somebody that knows a little bit about the game of golf. We learned it from the Scottish. If you keep changing your grip on your putter, you obviously suck.
Yeah, but I like this. The super grip that you now have. But I get the feeling tonight he plans on playing 19 holes.
So I do enjoy your husband, so it works on the course.
Super Stroke grip is longer and thicker.
Yeah,
it's bigger
we
rack.
know. Yeah.
It's making the holes, keeping the greens and the rough trimmed up.
I have a Super Stroke grip on my putter, as a matter of fact, on 2 of them.
He has it on my putter right now.
I thought she was like whenever I see people get gimmicky with putters, I'm like, you just don't know how to putt.
Big ass, thick handle.
I'm going to start talking about the rough next time I'm with a lady and we're getting intimate. Maybe she hadn't shaved in a while.
Yeah, when's the last time you shaved?
What is this, U.S. Open down here? Gracious.
Torrey Pines?
I hope she likes golf, or that joke would go nowhere.
And it's worse
Point
than
is, you hairy.
Stubbly.
Wow. And all the guys, Lori, the naughty mommy, hits Medicare status today, the 11th mile marker 65. She may be creaky in the knees, but is still our beloved naughty mommy. She needs to know how the dirty Germans would make this milestone birthday memorable. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That from Sharon.
Yeah, I would make it memorable by not commenting on the creakiness of your knees when I play. Never mind.
Yeah, we wouldn't make it awkward, but it would be the first time I've had sex on one of those chairs that slowly goes up the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do much. We just go up, we bring it down.
You ever taken a ride on one of those before?
They're so slow.
Oh, my God.
I did walk right at the lane.
Oh, my God.
It's terrible. I mean, you get that those people need it, but right, when you're a kid and some old person has it, you're like, I gotta get in this.
Yep.
And it's disappointment.
You get there a half hour later.
Dude, I was at a house once, like a mansion of an ex-pro football player.
Yeah.
And there was an elevator. And I was all drunk. I was like, this is unbelievable. Can I take it? And he's like, yeah. It just goes like down one floor. There's nothing special.
Sure, but it's in a house. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's world famous sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
All right, before we get to your guess as good as mine, what is the deal with the hotline? Who called that?
Oh, some guy named Sean Kenny, something like that, plays drums in some local band. I don't know. Hey, Sean, welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, how are you fellas?
We're great, Sean. How have you been, man?
It's been a while. I haven't seen any of you guys in a minute.
Well, you were supposed to call us on show 4000. Now we're on show 4018, so I guess you're a little late. Is that why you were calling to congratulate us on this milestone?
Had no idea about it, but congratulations.
Thanks, Sean. What the hell you been up to, man?
First time I'm hearing about it. Nobody told me about show 4,000. Is that 4,000 in your career or 4,000 in Seattle?
4,000 in Seattle on this station.
At KISW.
Wow, that is a lot of talking.
That's a lot of nonsense.
Okay, well,
you're running your gums a lot.
How many? Okay,
a lot of just
could you imagine
filling time and making up stuff? That's cool. That's a pretty good job.
If there was a way to count the number of shows that Alice in Chains have played in your guys' career, how many shows do you guys think you've done?
I don't think it's that many. It's probably not 4,000. I mean,
well, you've had enough time to do it, Sean. I mean, my God,
I would think it's been close, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't know. I don't want to know. Like, if I knew, I'd either be depressed because it was so many, or I would be depressed because it wasn't as many.
Not nearly as many as you thought.
Sure.
I was like, oh, man, I'm sure we played way more than that. They're like, nah, you played like 9 shows. I'm like, what?
Right.
9.
Well, we had your buddy Duff McKagan in last week because he has got a new solo album, Lighthouse, out, and we've had your buddy Jerry Cantrell on the program because he's got a new solo album out. Word on the street is you have a new album out and you're just playing the bass drum. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's not doing well, surprisingly. Just spoken word, some muffled crying, and hitting a bass drum apparently isn't really connecting. But I think it's just ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's like people aren't ready for it, man.
Well, I just think, give it time. 10, 15 years from now, probably be up there.
A masterpiece.
Albums.
I know a couple of the tunes you did on actually like a marching band bass drum, which is that was pretty impressive.
That's going to go big. It's going to be big. It's going to take time, and I'm glad you guys are pushing it here on the radio.
Sure. What we haven't talked to you in a while, man. What's the plans for the next year, man? Are you guys going to go back out on the road in the studio? And I know COVID kind of threw a wrench in everything, but where's the Alice in Chains camp?
No, we went out and did some tours and stuff. I don't know. I think Jerry's trying to do some more stuff he wants to do. I know that we agreed to play once next year so far. So
okay,
all right, just one show,
right? Yeah.
Being in a band is. I don't know if it's like being on the radio. There, you guys get together and you work constantly. It's like anything. Everybody has to be on the same page about doing stuff. So
yeah, exactly. So
I want to do something doesn't mean somebody else wants to do the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's like being married. Mm-hmm. So, but one of the things that you do in your meantime, right? You are the de facto owner of the legendary Crocodile.
I'm not the owner. I am
one of
the people that is involved with the Crocodile. Correct?
Yeah, that's where you debuted your solo album with the bass drum. It was.
Well, yeah, and I already did it, and nobody came. So, I mean, I think it was just promotion, or it was like a slow night. I don't know, but I'm going to probably try to get in there again.
All right. I've been obviously been to the old Crocodile a number of times. I've been to the new Crocodile, but downstairs.
Yeah, was it Madame Lou's?
Been to Madame Lou's.
Yeah, Madame Lou's.
Upstairs.
But I've never been upstairs. Did you guys bring the pizza ovens over from the Crocodile? You still doing that?
We did not, and I was very bummed out about that. And we did not. Everything stayed, and we moved. So basically, the new one has it has a Crocodile upstairs that holds like 800 people, big stage, big thing. You have a bar restaurant thing on the front called the Society that you don't have to go to a show to hang out in. There's a hotel with like 19 hotel rooms on top.
Wow.
There's Madame Lou's that holds 300 or so people downstairs. And then there's a comedy club theater called Here Now down there that has like I think 100 seats in it. So we went from a 600 seat place during COVID when nobody could go out and thought it would be great to open a 4 or 5 venue place when nobody can leave their house. Great business decision. One of the greatest.
Yeah. Now this is the big. Is it the big old El Gaucho room? Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, it's the whole El Gaucho building because it used to have a place called the Pampas Room underneath it and all that. And so during COVID, built it all out and you know, it's cool. It's what I always kind of the stuff I used to dig, and I think a lot of people like to Till and have where you kind of have all these multifaceted entertainment spaces in one building, you know, and it's kind of my whole reason behind it is my band does business with big business. You guys are, you know, same thing. Everything's kind of owned by conglomerates. So when we work, you know, it's Live Nation, it's AEG. They're friends, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they kind of own everything.
Right.
Clubs and everything. Exactly. They kind of like sucked up everything. And Seattle has always had this independent music streak, and so it's kind of important to me and some of the other people. Susan Silver, who's one of our managers and been with us forever. She's one of the other owners, and just to kind of keep it Seattle's place, ran by Seattle people, ran for the people in Seattle, not letting these big companies come and take it over. I mean, AEG owns all the show boxes and stuff.
Okay,
right. So, you know, it's hard to compete for the people that run these things, this place for us, because they just don't have the money. They don't have the deep pockets to pay people to come there, and bands and entertainers need money because it's hard because nobody buys your music or your entertainment that much, you know. So you have to tour and perform to try to be a professional musician. And so, you know, if they're going to pay you way more down at, say a competing place down the street because they, you know, have Madonna on tour and we don't, you know, it's a little tough, but a lot of people are still, you know, trying to get the acts to come in there and support it. It's been pretty cool. So that's kind of it's sort of the FU to everybody taking over everything. And it should be, you know, that's my thought. It's, you know, Seattle's place for Seattle people to do that and see cool stuff and stuff before it gets too big and groovy. And even when it is big and groovy and people want to come in and play smaller shows there, that's what it's for. But it's really cool kind of setup, you know.
Sean Kenny from Alice in Chains, who is the kazoo player and a slide whistle guy in the band. We're running.
I'm a fly fisherman and a kazoo player and a falconer. You know,
falconer.
Big into falconry. I have a lot of time off now, and so I just really got deep diving into falconry.
Hey, man, you're never too old to learn a new trick. Hey, Sean, we just got a text that says, how do local bands try to book at the Crocodile?
You call somebody there. I don't know. I don't book it, man. Let's, you know,
that's not my job.
Send a Falcon.
I've been there. I've been there several times. I'm very proud of it, and I hope people enjoy it. And I think it's a great venue, and it's
what are
venues,
Sean? You know? I mean, I guess it's probably to be objective as far as what you do. What are some of the better bands you've seen there?
That I've seen there?
Yeah.
Well, I have friends that are in this band called the Walking Papers. I've seen them there.
Oh, okay.
I just saw some band called Baroness. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Baroness, yeah.
You know, I don't go out that much, but I occasionally do. I'm going to go out. Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow.
We're running commercials for Fishbone.
Ah. And you a Fishbone fan?
Yeah, we are.
Huge Fishbone fan.
We've been Fishbone fans our entire life.
You are a smart man.
Yes, we are.
Smart man. I am too. Fishbone is probably one of the most criminally underrated, greatest bands, live bands, and diverse kind of entertaining and high skilled musicianship you'll ever hear. I don't think, my personal opinion is, I don't know if we'd have like a Red Hot Chili Peppers, Faith No More, like a lot of bands that we take for granted. I don't know if we would if it wasn't for Fishbone.
I agree.
Doing what they started doing when they're in junior high school together.
Yeah, Truth and Soul was one of those albums where you listen to it and you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. They're playing at the Croc tomorrow. So
put us on the list.
I was gonna split. Oh, you want to get on the list?
Yeah, put us on the list. We'll go down.
All right.
Wait, can we trust you to do that, or are you just saying
it? Town, and I'm staying an extra day just to go scope out the Fishbone. I think, I'm glad that you guys are down with it. We've been good friends with those guys for a long time, and they're just an unmatched force.
Have you played on stage? Have you guys ever played together?
Yeah, well, they were out with us on Lollapalooza in '93, but before that, we did a couple little gigs, and there was a really kind of a cool one that was back before there was the grunge, before they'd invented that, and I think it was in like '91. So, Nevermind wasn't out yet. 10, Pearl Jam's record, Nirvana's records weren't out yet, so they hadn't, invented the grunge. But we had Facelift out. We'd been out for a year or so working on that, and that had caught on, and we were, selling records and getting on the radio and MTV and all this crap. And I think we're in New York, and there was some show, like one of the networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, somebody was trying to do a new live concert series like they used to have with like Don Kirshner's rock concerts, midnight specials and stuff, And they were trying to relaunch one of these things, and they asked us to be on it. And the bill was like Ace of Base, somebody. And then it was supposed to be Fishbone, then us, and then LL Cool J was going to finish, play last. And LL Cool J had the monsters. Easy. He had a real band, he had a band, musicians, he had a choir. So it was really cool what he was trying to do and what he was doing then. And they wanted us to play right before him. And we said we do the show, but we're not idiots. We're not going on, after Fishbone. We're not doing it. We knew better. We knew better. We're like, nah. And they're like, yeah, but, it's TV and got to keep people, wanting to watch. And you guys are starting to get shiny and groovy and stuff. And we're like, yeah, but we're not stupid. We're not doing it. So we whoever played Ace of Base, whoever it was, then we played. And then Fishbone went on, and the audience is just like free tickets, like in a theater in New York, I think. And so it's not like anybody's audience, but the audience was really there for music. So they were really cool into our thing. Fishbone went on and just did what they do, just blew the place apart, right? Angelo's climbing around the balconies, diving in the audience. I mean, it's Fishbone. It just tore the place up, blew it up. And then at the end of the show, Angelo had everybody chanting "Fishbone is red hot" over and over and over and over. So they leave, and then LL Cool J comes out. He's got this cool band. He's got this monstrous song. He's got this choir, and it's all these TV cameras. You're on. It's going to be on TV, so it's for a TV show. And he comes out, starts his thing, and the audience just keeps chanting "Fishbone is red hot" for like two songs. I don't even know if it was that long. I can't remember, but he got pissed and he just left. I don't even know. He just split, man. He was like, nah, I'm done. And so that right there is like a little story of, if you've never seen Fishbone, you don't understand what they're about, how amazing they are.
Are you going to be there tomorrow night?
Yeah, man. I was going to split town, and I decided to stay another day when I realized that they were playing. So yeah, I'm gonna go down there.
All right, man. We'll show up, man. We'll definitely go. It's Fishbone.
I'm gonna put you on. And for you to go, I got to put you on the list. That's how this works.
Yes, please, if you could do that.
And then what we'll do is we'll encourage people to.
And it's each one of you guys plus plus 2, 3,
plus
like,
one.
It depends on the posse.
You have like security entourage. You got a bunch of hanger-oners.
Yeah. That's us.
Well, it's not going to rain, so we don't need the umbrella guy.
Yeah, we don't need an umbrella guy. He'll definitely.
Have you been living here? Have you been living here long enough where you don't have an umbrella?
Yes, I do not have an umbrella.
No, I have a hood.
Yep, that's it. Put your hand up.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
right.
Yep, you're a native now. Good
Okay. Fishbone tomorrow night at the Crocodile. We're going to go down, and we'll see you down there. Tickets are on sale now, by the way, for the show.
Yeah.
Head on down to the Crocodile tomorrow night and check out Fishbone.
Yeah, it was good talking to you guys, and congratulations on your 72,511 shows.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate
that's
that.
pretty monumental.
Yeah. What's your Falcon's name, by the way?
Larry.
Larry the Falcon. Yeah.
Sweet. Bring him too. Sean Kenny from Alice and Chase. Thanks so much, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Bye.
See you back.
Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Let's be honest. Preventing pregnancy is a pain. Whether you're picking birth control up every month or running to grab Plan B, it costs too much time, money, and effort. All while your partner gets to go about their day uninterrupted. Wisp is changing the game. At hellowisp.com, you can get the reproductive care you need without stepping foot in a doctor's office or waiting in line. Have birth control delivered on your schedule and get emergency contraceptive before you need it. Use code CARE, C-A-R-E, at hellowisp.com for 15% off your first order. That's hello-wisp.com and have it delivered for free.
Maximize the compensation for your injury claim with Phillips Law Firm. With over 80 years of combined legal experience, they won't allow the insurance companies to dictate what's good enough for you. Whether it's an auto accident or workplace injury, contact Phillips Law Firm today. If they don't win, you don't pay.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up next, we'll drink a toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, a quick check-in with Mike Holick and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. A new study found that owning a cat may double your risk of schizophrenia.
A cat?
Yes. They believe it has something to do with a bacteria in their feces.
Okay.
So
I should stop eating it then.
Yeah,
Damn it.
should. Means that your dog's probably at risk too. Would be my
my dog,
assumption.
as best I can tell, was born that way, Mike.
Have we diagnosed that in any animal before? Other than ourselves?
No.
Like it's not something like your dog can be like, dude, there's like 2 people over there. I can't write it.
I mean, the problem is you can only know as much as you know about animals.
Right.
Right? You can study them, you can watch their behavior, all these things, and I think you get a good idea of how we believe they're supposed to be, but if there's something wrong, they can't convey it.
Right.
Right? They can growl at you to let you know that maybe they don't like you. They can wag their tail if they like you, lick you and all, but when you can't, it's like having a baby.
Exactly.
Right? A lot of things you might discover about your kid later, unless it's something physical or extreme, you don't really know until they get old enough to start communicating with you.
Right.
With language, and you kind of go, okay, all right, I see.
My dog hears voices.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Right, exactly.
Right? You have no idea.
That'd be terrifying.
I feel like cats do, because, a cat will just stare at the window for 20 minutes. Like, are you communing with something outside? You have no idea.
I'm staring him down, man. He ain't getting in here. Good news, McDonald's health nuts. They're planning on bringing back the snack wrap.
Breakfast or lunch?
I don't know, Miles. It just says they're bringing back the snack
They're
wraps.
both good. So they used to have a chicken strip in there for a while.
Yeah.
And then the breakfast, they had like the...
So would the breakfast snack wrap just be a breakfast burrito then?
Probably.
Yeah, I will
smaller.
say, though, people forget, McDonald's still has that weird little breakfast burrito.
They do.
On their menu.
Odd little thing, man.
Really?
Have you ever had that?
It's like scrambled eggs. I think they just chop up one of the pieces of sausage and it's like cheese. I actually...
Either sausage or bacon.
Yeah, and I like them.
It sounds fine.
But they're small.
I don't know how to feel about it. I'm
You get a couple of them.
I was... Well, yeah. To go with your sandwich.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are not very big at all.
They're like the French fries to your burger.
That's exactly right.
Like sometimes if I get up early to watch sports, especially like if it's going to be a college football and I'm starting at 9 a.m., like I'll go to McDonald's, get it and be like, yeah, throw in 2 of those.
Yeah.
It's about halftime.
That's really what they are, dude. They're like the candy bar at the checkout aisle.
Yeah, it's at halftime.
Grab a couple of those.
Like, I'm going to be hungry again.
So's in there. The makers of Tums released a $200 handbag that looks like a bottle of antacids.
Who's in the market for that?
I don't know.
Who wants to be seen publicly with that?
Right. Tums is something that you kind of succumb to. It's like, I need these. Now, in this room, it's like, we know why we need the Tums in here.
There's a bottle of Tums on the desk.
Right. Tums means I can't hang. That's what Tums means. No, there's no problem with it, but Tums is a line that you've crossed.
And Tums isn't one of those things. Like, look, I'll put it this way. People, they like their tennis shoe brands and never wear a shirt that has the logo. People like Polo for no explicable reason other than you want the jockey you wear. I've never seen anyone rock a Tums shirt.
You know what?
That would be the cheapest thing you could do. A $5 T-shirt you sell for $15 at Target, right?
Tums.
I've personally never seen anyone with a baseball cap that says Tums.
Yeah, well, I got a Rolade one.
Well, Rolade's different, man. They're the original, the OG.
God, we should start that, dude. Just a line of different kind of apparel that's got just, honestly, why are you
advertising? Or whatever it's called.
Metamissile. Preparation H. Purposil.
And I could fathom a dude at a tailgate rocking like a Tums shirt or something or barbecuing. I have a hard time seeing a woman being like, I'm going to spend this much money on a handbag that says Tums on it.
Hey,
I tell you what. Women get indigestion. To me, it's like,
but you don't brag about it.
I tell you what, I'm hanging next to the guy with the Tums hat at the tailgate, though, because I know my tummy's going to hurt soon, and I'm going to need a little something to break that up. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's be honest. They should do that at pizza places.
They
you finish your order, it's after 11 p.m., and the guy goes, how old are you? I'll be like, currently 42. He'll be like, all right, it's after 11. We'll send the Tums with the pizza.
Right.
Or do you want Andy's Mints or Tums,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Andy's Mint for the kids, Tums for me, right.
Just a couple Tums. Maybe an Alka-Seltzer, depending on what it is that you need.
If I ever open a place, I'll do that.
Being in the chosen field that we're in of spoken word, it behooves us to always kind of challenge our delivery of certain words and really the crutch words. We like to really bring up the different kind of word that we use as a crutch. I remember fondly the trip out to Spokane where Miles was harping our own VD about how his response to everything was outstanding, and Miles followed that up with "in a field" every time that he said it, and it's what got him to kind of stay off of that one. And there's a handful of those words that they're kind of lazy speech. But don't worry, we've got some alternatives. VD.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
Overused words that make you sound boring. How about the word boring? Just saying the word boring makes you sound legitimately boring. Or in your case, dull, dreary, tedious, mind-numbing. Welcome to Dullsville, Mr. Unimaginative.
Yeah. So there you go. So these are the overused words that make you sound boring. The last one on the list that they have here is interesting.
To me, it doesn't make you sound boring. It seems to me that you're telling me that I'm boring. Right? I told you something, you go, interesting.
If I say interesting, it's because I'm fighting the urge to be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, that's what you're into.
It's the nicest way to acknowledge that I have heard what you've said.
Yeah, right. You don't want to, because it's weird when you just yell, that's weird. You're strange.
They give a couple of alternatives by going with fascinating, or could you settle for cool? Is it engaging, but maybe not quite mesmerizing? So those are some other words for interesting.
Cool beans.
Important shows up. Says just how important is the matter? Is it urgent? Is it crucial? Or is it even relevant enough to be pressing but not quite critical? These are other words, alternatives for important.
So they want the temperature of the importance, basically.
Exactly. And what was it? Was it Dead Poet Society that was basically challenging people to not use the word like? You know,
it may have been in that movie. That is a tough challenge.
Right. It's just when it comes to adjectives.
Right. There's just easy way. Well, there are, but the only problem with that is not everyone is maybe on the same level. So, you know, so when you add it in, it sounds like you're being pretentious, and it's like, I'm not trying to be. I just don't want to say the word like.
Exactly. Smart shows up. Smart is a catch-all, and intelligence manifests in so many different ways. It says, what's so smart about the person, idea, or concept that you're talking about? Is it brilliant, clever, quick-witted, inventive? A smart person has probably been called smart countless times, but how many times have they been called wise or ingenious? I feel like they have to really have a different kind of smart to pull out the wise. If you're going to call somebody
is
wise,
entirely different.
Right. It's not smarts. It's time spent.
I feel like, wise to me is a condition of experience.
Right.
Where smart is just a matter of intellectually you understand what's going on, but you might not be able to apply your intellect to any given situation.
Correct. Because there's a lot of smart people that don't make wise decisions.
Correct.
And a lot of dumb wise people that they make the right decision and you just wonder how they stay alive.
And generally, if I tell somebody that's wise, like they've given me some advice or some saying, and I'll be like, you're a wise man, Mr. Hawk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Have you ever said that?
Overused words.
I do use it a decent amount. And sometimes somebody just hits you with something and you're like, Yep, that's the right way to think about it.
Overused words that make you sound boring. They go with nice. It was nice. Oh, that's nice. Instead of really conveying any actual niceness. It says, break the nice mold with some more descriptive adjectives. Walk through the park in beautiful weather. Delightful.
Well, but you don't. To me, I use it in the reverse mechanism.
Okay.
So nice isn't negative. Like, oh yeah, my daughter's 18 and she just got pregnant. Nice.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
Delightful.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice? They go with funny. Says there are so many different nuanced types of humor. Why shouldn't we just use an equally varied collection of words to describe it rather than just the catch-all that is funny? You've got hilarious, riotous, amusing, witty, and side-splitting.
But I do think people, they differentiate. I think when you're funny, which is most people's standard, 85% of the funny things are just funny.
Correct. It's
when
the LOL.
Hilarious, you do tell people, man, that is hilarious.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Most people, I know anyway, they acknowledge the difference in how they see it.
I agree. Thing, they say.
Thing?
Another catch-all word nightmare that can ensnare writers is to temptingly ease to just throw the word thing into your writing speech. But you can care about this thing and or about being precise and specific in your writing.
Okay, my penis itches.
There you go. Says if you're actually conveying ignorance about something, thingamabob, doohickey are great alternatives for thing, but just go a little bit beyond just that thing.
That's a tough one, man.
Substance,
Sure,
all the fun stuff.
But again, in the course of conversation, why do I need to remind you of what you just told me? Right? If we're talking about something, that's, that's the thing. But we already know what the thing is.
I got you.
When we have a conversation, how many times do we say each other's name? Other than getting each other's attention, I don't end every sentence, Mike.
True.
Hey, what's your next thing, Mike? You'd be like, dude, what? Right? We know we're speaking to each other. You don't need
generally,
to add
if you're
words.
close with somebody, like if I'm ending the sentence with like thrill, like I got to be proving a point and being like,
right,
I thought you knew more than that, thrill.
Right. Either we are angry, we're debating, or we disagree. Right.
Overused words that make you sound boring.
I will say, or agreeing.
Yes.
Sure.
Right, you'll hear me do it on the show sometimes. Like I'll be like, all right, Montgomery, you're right about that.
Mm-hmm. Right you are, Ted. And you'll hear me gasp and go, oh my God, say it again.
I will say I do that to some of my friends.
Good, great, or awesome all show up there.
I'm an awesome guy.
You are an awesome guy,
Love
Ted.
it.
Says every now and again, try throwing out fantastic, wonderful, or excellent when good just isn't good enough.
I'm not going to say fantastic.
Fantastic.
Or whatever. This is fantastic.
You have, though. You've eaten a food and you're like, that's fantastic.
I'm trying to think outside of the world of food, I don't know that I use that word, right? So if someone makes a meal like, dude, that is fantastic. Because you really want them to know the depth of how much you like it.
I just use it in the bedroom, to be honest with you. I am fantastic.
Sex was fantastic. Get yourself a Gatorade.
It's on the house.
Yeah, exactly. They're in the lower left-hand drawer.
Oh, my God. But then the number one overused word that makes you sound boring, and I accidentally already brought it up, but it is the word like. Says that, however, they're not talking about the filler word like, as in this was like the greatest day ever. Says we're talking about the verb like, which definitely suffers from overuse. Would the word admire apply to whatever you're talking about? What about cherish or even revere? Those convey feelings stronger than yours. Maybe appreciate or enjoy will fit the bill.
Because it has to own, if you're going to say you cherish something, you better be talking about your kid or the time you spent with your parents before they died.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise, I don't believe in my opinion, you're not using it right.
I agree.
Oh, I cherish that pie you made. You liked it. You liked it, you son of a bitch.
It's kind of funny.
I cherish this piece of pie.
Yeah, you go, all right, weirdo, get out of my house, man.
Well, it's fantastic.
I'll take it.
A man in India was arrested for groping a woman, but the excuse that he gave for doing it is something that you won't see coming, Miles.
What was that?
Give you all the details at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming in at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Imagine the relief of securing fair compensation for an accident you were in, where the insurance companies aren't dictating what's good enough and your injuries and suffering are truly acknowledged. Whether it's an auto accident, a workplace injury, or slip and fall, Phillips Law Firm has dedicated over 2 decades to ensuring their clients receive the rightful compensation and attention they deserve. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today or visit justiceforyou.com. They don't win, you don't pay. Phillips Law Firm, justice for you.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Let's be honest, preventing pregnancy is a pain. Whether you're picking birth control up every month or running to grab Plan B, it costs too much time, money, and effort. All while your partner gets to go about their day uninterrupted. WISP is changing the game. At hellowisp.com, you can get the reproductive care you need without stepping foot in a doctor's office or waiting in line. Have birth control delivered on your schedule and get emergency contraceptive before you need it. Use code CARE, C-A-R-E, at hellowisp.com for 15% off your first order. That's hello-wisp.com and have it delivered for free.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
All right, we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Quick time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast 23-year-old Andrea Hong of Lebanon, New Hampshire. Now, Andrea, she's the recent grad and just started her first nursing job at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. And she was excited, just happened last month, to attend a practice session on how to respond to someone in cardiac arrest, right? And obviously, if you work in the medical world, stuff like this is exciting. Now, she was not the only person taking the class that day, and that proved to be a good thing. Because in spite of being only 23 years old, Andrea seriously had a heart attack at the How to Save Someone from Cardiac Arrest class. Even better news, the other students were paying attention because they managed to save her life.
Wow. That's awful young.
She went to the class, and basically she says it, I remember feeling faint. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in a hospital. Some of the students from the class around me, some actual doctors around her, and they're going, you had a heart attack. And she did not even believe them at first, so she's like, they're like, no, seriously. You went into cardiac arrest, so instead of practicing on all the dummies and all this stuff, the teacher basically said, pay attention because this is life or death. And they saved her life.
Damn.
I mean, I guess we're going to have a heart attack.
Okay.
That's the
insanity.
best place, 23 years old.
Yeah.
And she has no prior record of any kind of heart condition. So I don't know what the hell's going on there. But like I said, if you have to have a heart attack, no better place to do it. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, JP. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, JP, you understand how this here game is played.
Well, you just explained it, Steve, so if I didn't, that'd be a little weird.
You know, thank you for saying that, man. You'd be amazed sometimes. Well, today you have your choice of one of three stories: The Wonderful World of Drugs, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone, and finally, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
Jesus. Okay, let's go with animal. That's ridiculous.
All right, here is your story. We go to the state of Texas, where a woman had an early holiday surprise when she found an animal hiding in the branches of her Christmas tree. A video posted to TikTok shows the creature hiding inside the adorned tree inside of the woman's home. Keep in mind, she has fully decorated this thing. It is in her home. Then she discovered the animal. So the woman said...
It's a snake. I'm calling it early. It's a snake. It's Texas.
All right, hang on. I'll let the other guys go.
Okay.
You might be onto something. The woman said in a follow-up video that she does not know how the animal got inside her home, as no doors have been left open. She says she heard noises after arriving home from work, but initially thought they were coming from one of her 3 dogs or her cat, none of which seemed to notice a wild animal living in the frickin' Christmas tree. Well, she eventually got to investigate the sounds and saw a tail sticking out from her tree. The woman donned rubber gloves, attempted to pull the animal out from the tree, but it was clinging tightly to a branch. She was able to pull the animal free, but then it broke from her grasp and, quote-unquote, fled under a couch. The animal fled from furniture item to furniture item until the woman was able to, quote, finally tackled it like an NFL football player. That's her quote. Now, the woman said the animal, which she was able to carry outside, was not mean or aggressive during the encounter, just skittish. And she added, quote, as an animal lover, I probably would have kept it if it didn't smell so horrid. So the question is, what was hiding in her tree and then under her couch? Was it a raccoon? Was it an armadillo? Was it a possum? Or like you said, JP, was it a snake?
Oh, it sounds like a midget to me. I'm going to go with armadillo, though, because, I'm going to go with well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, hang on, Mr. Confident. You're cutting them off, screaming snake. You're not going to stick with snake?
Nah, well, I had it, but the thing had a tail, and snakes don't have a tail. It's just a snake.
Well, they're all tail.
Right, they're basically they're a tail with a mouth and eyes up front.
Right.
So it's Texas. It's not an armadillo. It's not a raccoon in Texas. It's got to be an armadillo. But how does an armadillo wind up in a tree? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
I think it's a snake. I think it's a possum because they have strong tails.
Possum?
Possum.
I'm going snake. Why the hell not? Since you gave it up, JP. All right, we're going to find out.
Wait, what are you going with finally, JP? What's your final guess?
Fine. I'm going to I'm going to be wiggly the whole way. I'm going possum then, damn it.
Possum.
Okay. Going to find out what was in this tree. Was it a raccoon, an armadillo, a possum, or a snake? We'll find out next.
That was a tease. Let's be honest. Preventing pregnancy is a pain. Whether you're picking birth control up every month or running to grab Plan B, it costs too much time, money, and effort. All while your partner gets to go about their day uninterrupted. Wisp is changing the game. At hellowisp.com, you can get the reproductive care you need without stepping foot in a doctor's office or waiting in line. Have birth control delivered on your schedule and get emergency contraceptive before you need it. Use code CARE, C-A-R-E, at hellowisp.com for 15% off your first order. That's hello.wisp.com and have it delivered for free.
Maximize the compensation for your injury claim with Phillips Law Firm. With over 80 years of combined legal experience, they won't allow the insurance companies to dictate what's good enough for you. Whether it's an auto accident or workplace injury, contact Phillips Law Firm today. If they don't win, you don't pay.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyze this on Profile This. We got a Texas woman. She found an animal hiding in the branches of her family's fully decorated Christmas tree.
Get out of there.
She saw the tail, tried to grab the tail. The animal took off, ended up bouncing around underneath the couch, other pieces of furniture.
It's running from her, yeah.
According to her, she tackled it like a football player and actually carried the animal outside. The animal did not bite her, and she released it into the wild.
Yeah.
Question is, was the animal a raccoon, an armadillo, an opossum, or a snake?
And JP, that is the very question that we posed to you, and you immediately cut me up and say snake. It's Texas, it's snake. Well, by the end of it,
but you wouldn't tackle a snake, and you can't tackle a raccoon because they would bite you. A possum, you could probably tackle, so I'm sticking with possum.
You know, I always tackle possum, but you did inspire Miles, who went with a snake.
Yes,
but alas, it was not a snake. Now, D.T. Smith, you went with a possum. I don't know why, doesn't matter. And
strong tail.
Strong tail, that's right, JP. In the end, you agreed with him, and you just stated your case now. You are correct. It was a possum.
Nice work.
What I find amazing about this story, you bought the Christmas tree, you brought it home, you decorated it. By her own admission, she has 3 dogs and a cat, and not one of them smelled or had an issue with the possum in the tree.
That makes sense over the smell issue. Because I was like, snakes don't really smell.
They don't really smell, but yeah, that's weird. And actually, what's weird, we used to have this like albino possum that lived in the yard. And with my old dog, not the current one, this possum would hiss at me, only came out at night. But my dog, I thought was going to go over there and fight the thing. They would sit next to each other each night for like 10 minutes.
I'd still think I can figure it's the other animals who are like, I don't know, the possum's cool.
There's got to be something about the possums the dogs apparently like. Like I said, my dog and this albino possum were like, hey, man, what's up? Sup? And they would sit there. But if I got close, this possum would hiss at me, and my dog's like, I'm not going to tell him not to.
That's on you.
Thanks, bud.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
A lot of choices today. We got Bill Maher.
Okay.
The Jimmies.
Fallon Kibble.
Seth Meyers.
Okay.
Weekend Update, SNL. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there. The title. These guys have teams of talented writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Sylvester Stallone traveled to Philadelphia to celebrate the city's first ever Rocky Day. Although I would say if you're living in Philadelphia, that every day is a pretty rocky day.
Weekend Update.
Weekend Update.
Yep.
Sylvester Stallone traveled to Philadelphia to celebrate the city's first ever Rocky Day. Although I'd say that if you're living in Philadelphia, every day is a pretty rocky day.
Singer Adele has been named the second most powerful woman in Hollywood, according to The Hollywood Reporter. And the only woman more powerful than her is, of course, Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. the She-Hulk.
The Ted Smith.
Yeah, I'll say it's you.
Yeah, it's me. All right. Who do you think's hotter, the She-Hulk or the blue woman from Avatar?
I'm going to take the blue woman.
All right, cool. How about the She-Hulk?
All right, hey, man, we're in. Taste the rainbow.
Vladimir Putin announced he's running for president of Russia again. I don't want to say their elections are phony, but on their I voted stickers, voted is in quotes.
I think it's Bill Maher.
Seth Meyers.
Jimmy Fallon.
Vladimir Putin announced that he's running for president of Russia again.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to say their elections are phony, but on their I voted stickers, the word voted is in quotes.
The Coast Guard busted a submarine loaded with 5,000... Oh, Jesus. Sorry. It was the first time the cops begged a suspect to stop talking.
Weekend Update.
Bill Maher.
That is Bill Maher.
Coast Guard busted
a submarine carrying 5,500 pounds of cocaine. It was the first time cops begged a suspect to stop talking.
Well, I guess Bill Maher's, I feel like he might have some deep experience with cocaine.
Yeah. Nick Cannon revealed that he spends up to $200,000 every year taking all of his 12 children to Disneyland. That's how bad condoms feel.
That's going to be
SNL. Yeah. That's SNL.
Nick Cannon revealed that he spends up to $200,000 every year taking all 12 of his children to Disneyland. That's how bad condoms feel.
Jesus. I mean, if you're not Nick Cannon or that much money, I don't know. First of all, there's no way you're taking 12 children to Disneyland or Disney World. And then, I mean, look, and Nick Cannon even talks to himself. It's like, it's already expensive. If you're trying to stay in the hotel, it's not how it used to be. You got to make reservations. Also, like, again, I've never been to Disneyland. I've only been to Disney World. But Disney World is so massive that there's more expensive resorts to stay at on property, and there's some cheaper ones, too, right? They're all awesome. But I feel like Disneyland, there's only a couple places. So, like, if you're going to stay there, it's going to be cost you a pretty penny.
I hear what he's saying, and he is not wrong. But again, you have 12 children, and you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
There are people that have 12 children that are not millionaires. So like, Disney World ain't happening. Ever.
All right, let's see. Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy. Now she's saying the infamous Will Smith Oscar slap is, well, first she said she thought, remember, like a couple months ago or whatever, she was like, or months ago was bad. He shouldn't have done it. Now she thinks it's a positive thing, and she calls it the holy slap because, quote, so many positive things came after it.
Like,
probably not Will.
Yeah.
The most... She says it saved their marriage. She says, quote, that moment of crap hitting the fan is when you see who you really are. All those years of trying to figure out if I would leave Will's side. It took that slap for me, and I will never leave him. That sounds stalkerish, not love.
Say, Will's like, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have hit him.
Who knows where our relationship would be if that hadn't happened. Here's the deal.
You got problems.
She changes her mind so much and changes the narrative on everything, and everything's always 100% like this or that way.
It's alopecia, Ted.
Yeah, I don't believe her on this one either. Like, just stop.
And it played out in real time. And like we said, Chris Rock cracked his joke. Will laughed. Then you rolled your eyes and frowned. Then Will's like, oh, no, I didn't think that was funny, baby. Like, listen, he's whipped, dude.
And Will Smith's been hanging out with a new lady anyhow.
What did Jada say?
I'm not saying he has a type, but she is also bald and black. Throw, you got a chance.
It's me. Me and Will Smith are going to start dating soon.
His girlfriend has less whiskers. I've heard.
Less whiskers.
I don't know. He's been spotted with her twice now. And again, like, look, if you have a marriage and you guys agree, you know, like she was on her podcast talking about sleeping with other dudes. Like, I don't care. That's your personal business. But I'm just tired of hearing about it.
That's all, man.
Yeah, just like, come on. And then it's like, well, obviously, I don't think you respect that man a ton. Like, just, why are you guys still married? You know what I mean? Like, you got your own career. Your kids are grown. I don't think they'll care. Like, you could, if it's fine, you both agree to consciously uncouple, then just go, all right, cool. You keep yours, I'll keep mine. Let's just be done with it.
I think one of our shocking revelations from that was that she was less surprised by his actions and more surprised by his words at the time. Because according to her, she had not heard him utter the phrase or say, my wife, in 6 years.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So, like, when he, like, get my wife's, out of your mouth.
Oh, that's
so that was when she went, whoa, he just called me his wife, because they hadn't been together forever.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It's a consolation.
Played out beautifully. Glad you saved your marriage on that.
Yeah, right. Seems well-built foundation. Sturdy.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got to talk a little bit about the bad over the week. You know what? Let's talk a little good over the weekend. I did not watch the Army-Navy game, I saw it was a barn burner in the fourth quarter. I think it was like 10-3.
It actually got okay in the fourth quarter, leading up to that.
I left it like there was 7 minutes left, and it was still kind of a. I mean, look, it's Army-Navy. Navy runs that offense. They can mess with other schools when they play each other. They're pretty equally matched these years. But I saw there was some points scored there at the end. I missed all that. Heisman Trophy ceremony. If Michael Penix Jr. In Washington were in the SEC, he would have a Heisman Trophy right now. That is my stance on it. I think first of all, they're 13-0. His numbers are ridiculous. Like something has to help him some way in the Heisman, trophy voting. He was second on a lot of lists, but I really think if Washington played in the SEC, we would have a different view of that team. And people were like, "This could be the greatest team ever assembled. They score at will. They win the games they need to."
Sure.
So we'll see what happens there. But sticking with the Huskies with a big win Saturday night in basketball.
Gonzaga, man.
Number 7 Gonzaga. Yeah,
no kidding.
They play every year. I want to say that might have been the first time the Huskies beat Gonzaga since like 2007.
It's been a hot minute.
It has been a while. Gonzaga is always better. I actually sat down. A couple of my buddies went to the game, and they were like, "We're going to the game." I didn't even know it was on. But now it's a little later in the evening. I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'll watch it." And full disclosure, Husky fans, I thought they were going to blow it. Like Gonzaga's just better. But they didn't, and they won the game. It was pretty awesome. Now, the bad for the weekend is that the Seattle Seahawks are in trouble. Like, they've lost some games or whatever. That was not a good performance yesterday. Mike kind of looked at me today when I told him. I said, look, at this point, like the season's a wrap. You got to figure out who's who. And last year, they overachieved. This year, I'd say they're underachieving. And frankly, some of those guys who had good years or players that played well, you thought were going to take this next big step, and they haven't. In some cases, I think a few of them have even gone backwards.
They may have, and we talked about this real briefly earlier today, you and me, Ted, and I said, man, one of the things that happens, and this is true of every team, whatever you did last season, the schedule you played this season reflects where you fell, right?
Correct.
So when you overachieve, you play other teams that may or may not have overachieved, but you find out real quick where they stand. If you're some teams, you just had a bad season, but we know you're good. Pittsburgh Steelers, right? You get this soft-ass schedule, comparatively speaking, and you go out there and dominate these teams because you're better than mediocre. So there's a few teams that are good. We were talking about, I would say, Philly. Yeah, look old. They look tired. They look broken up.
They've had a couple rough weeks.
It's late in the season, but also they got the second-place schedule, and you're playing these teams that are hungry for you. It's like, man, there's a few teams that are truly as good as what the record is, and you get usually about a 3-season window.
And trust me, that's what I'm worried about. I was looking at my buddy. This is before we're like halfway through the Eagles game, and I go, damn it. Eagles are going to lose to Dallas, and they're going to come out here next Monday and try to get healthy on the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, as much as I'm sitting here kind of talking bad about the Seahawks, obviously I'm still going to watch the games. There's only so many NFL games this season. Yeah. So, for fans, don't let that waver you. But also, they're not a good football team right now. Let Drew Lock play it out. Let's see what happens.
When you look at the teams they've lost to, San Francisco, easily one of the best teams in the NFC. Right. So are the Cowboys. So are the Eagles. There's a handful of teams that are up there. But in my mind, 49ers have just as good a chance getting to the Super Bowl as any team in the NFC.
I think the 49ers are hands down the best team in the NFC. Look, I could be wrong, but even watching the Cowboys-Eagles games, I'm like, neither of them look good. Like, I would not feel threatened playing neither one of these teams. Whatever they say about the Cowboys, watching them, if you have a competent defensive coordinator, they're not going to score on you, right? And they have a decent offense, but they run like 2 plays.
At least when you
CD Lamb, I will say CD Lamb.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him on that.
And look,
when we played Dallas on that Thursday night, at least it was a good competitive game. I think the disappointing thing is both the Niners games were basically not that competitive. Certainly that debacle in Baltimore was ugly. So that's and like me and Mike were saying, you lost to the Bengals when you had a chance to win. You beat the Browns, which you shouldn't have. They just kind of lucked out on that. So it's they got to be a little more realistic with this team and some of the draft picks and stuff. And they got to figure it out. I don't know what the answers are. I don't know if you need a new offense coordinator. I mean, Pete just re-signed him. But you have to agree. Front office is going to stay the same. So. This
is the part of the season where I think you start truly evaluating where you believe you are, right? Because some teams are starting to pop up a little bit, and you go okay, it took us a hot minute, but now they're buying into whatever the scheme was, right? Denver, for Christ's sake, Green Bay, the
Denver's
Bears.
Been on fire since
right?
the first. Yeah. Well,
something happened.
Let Drew play. All right, if you're going to draft a quarterback, let's at least see what
where
he
he's
can do
at,
in game action as opposed to just watching him in practice. Anybody that's played any sport at any level, hell, I don't care if you're on your freshman football team. Playing in that freshman football game is going to be a lot faster than practicing all August long. Speaking of football, there's 2 games on tonight. You got the Giants hosting the Packers. That's on ABC. Over on ESPN, you got the Dolphins hosting the Titans. I'm going to watch the Dolphins game because I like to watch that offense work.
And my brother is officiating that game.
Is he?
Side note, he was real happy about that because the weather everywhere else in this country sucked. He's like, dude, it's 70 degrees here. All my buddies are hating life.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A man does not like the way his food came out, so he stabs an employee at Panda Express. Meanwhile, a woman sprays bear repellent in a jewelry store, and now her shoulder is a mess. Pickpocket is busted when he touches a little too much butt. A woman who ran down a runway in Montana, she was kind of acting like a bit like a nut. And a man is arrested for DUI twice in one day. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, our top story. We go to India where a mistake has been cleared up. Authorities were called to a local metro station on reports of a man groping a woman riding one of the trains. After being touched from behind, she let out a scream that alerted onboard security, who detained the man and had him hand him over to authorities. Which, to be honest with you, if my ass was touched, I'd probably make that same sound. But he claimed to be innocent. Luckily for his case, he's got a history with local police and explained that he never had any intention of touching the woman inappropriately. He merely bumped her on accident as he was attempting to pickpocket her.
Oh, that's a much better excuse.
Given that he was on bail for after having been arrested earlier that day with 15 stolen phones in his possession, they bought his story. And I do too. I think that's absolutely true. I think that the train moved and he ended up grabbing up on her butt, and the rest is history.
I mean, it's possible, and if that's what you're going to cop to, like, maybe.
Right. Right.
I wasn't committing that crime. I was committing this crime.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. At that point, he had no reason to actually out himself, which also tells me that groping a woman on a train is a hell of a lot worse there than pickpocketing a phone.
Yes.
I'd rather be arrested for pickpocketing than groping somebody.
Right. Basically.
Absolutely.
Exactly. In other news, down to Florida, where a local man had no patience for waiting around. An officer had conducted a traffic stop near an apartment complex and was just finishing up, having handed the driver a written warning instead of a ticket. Thank you very much. When she was startled by the sound of banging on her window. What she found was a resident of the complex brazenly banging on the window and demanding that she leave as she was blocking him in. This didn't go over well. She warned the resident that she was doing her job and that he would need to leave or to let her finish. Of course he didn't, so she confronted the man, who doubled down and went chest to chest with the officer, actually puffed his chest and bumped into her there. Yeah. She attempted to detain him by the wrist and shirt, but the man eventually struck the officer in an attempt to escape. Backup soon arrived and properly took the man into custody, and he's now facing charges.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe ask a little bit nicer and maybe they'll move. I think she had already given out the ticket, but even then, it ain't gonna be that long. Hang out for a minute there, buddy. Damn.
And understand it's cops. Even if you're in the right, you don't win the battle, so.
Correct. To Montana, where a woman apparently decided to change her flight plans. She was at the Helena Airport and about to board her 6:30 a.m. flight. 6:30 in the morning this went down. When out of nowhere, she started acting erratically and eventually ran out onto the runway, ending the episode by scaling a fence. Officers were eventually able to catch up to the woman and place her under arrest. No information was given as to what set off the incident. They didn't say.
Nobody knows. Drugs, drunk, no mention.
Exactly.
Just crazy.
Pretty much, right? Yeah. And again, 6:30 in the morning. Keep in mind, if it's 6:30 in the morning, now granted, Helena Airport, you're probably there a little bit, later than you would
for a
at
hot
SeaTac.
minute, yeah.
Right. But you've been there probably since 5:30 in the morning, which means that you've been up since 4, which means I don't have time for this crap. I don't even have coffee in my hand at the point that you're freaking out and now delaying my plane because you're running out onto the
That is my issue.
runway.
Be as crazy as you need to be. Don't care. But, man, let me get my flight off at the time I want to get out of here. You'll be crazy when I'm gone.
Right.
It's okay.
I don't like traveling through the airport when things go according to plan.
Right. On the best of days, it sucks.
Right. I'm already in a bad mood on the best trip through the airport. I don't know what I would do if I was there, but I'd be very not
Other
agreeable.
than Australia, what other place you want to not run into the wild in? Montana.
I'd be like, run her over. Just fire up the plane.
Just
if
go.
she's on the runway, that's a decision she made.
She's on the runway. She's not on the plane. Therefore, we're not compromised. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Let's
She'll move or
get
she
the hell
won't.
out of here. You bet. Down to Mississippi for a real winner. At 9:30 in the morning, officers pulled over a car after watching it run a red light and conducted a routine stop. During the stop, officers noticed the driver to be in an impaired state, and he was ultimately arrested for DUI. He was released at 2:30 in the afternoon, which I don't know. I didn't know that it took that long to get back out, but good on you.
Well, it depends on if you're on the weekend, you're screwed. You're in all week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
If you're in during the week, you're out that day.
Okay.
Seriously, you gotta pick your choice on those days.
Gotcha.
You're gonna be that guy.
I did not know that. But anyway, he was released at 2:30 in the afternoon, sent on his way, only to be brought back up on the officer's radar on a local highway. It doesn't say what he was doing. He might have been speeding. He might have been driving a little bit erratically, but they did pull him over again. He was stopped for a reason not mentioned in the story and was once again determined to have been driving under the influence, earning him a second arrest within the day. And you got to assume that between the hours of 9:30 to 2:30, he is probably sobered up at this point. But not now.
Not now.
Good
That's
job,
crazy.
buddy. You got drunk again.
You just got out of it.
Criminy. Men's Room Sports, as Ted mentioned, we have not one but 2 Monday Night Football games on tonight. Green Bay is in New York taking on the Giants. That's over on Channel 4. And also, the Tennessee Titans are in Miami taking on the Dolphins. That's going to be on ESPN. The Manicast is on ESPN, too. And you got some NBA basketball over on Root Sports. The Portland Trailblazers are in L.A. taking on the Clippers. And that is it for your headlines in sports. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lovely. Taryn Daly is up next. We'll see you next time with Taryn again. We'll sit and spin.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we'll be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Maximize the compensation for your injury claim with Phillips Law Firm. With over 80 years of combined legal experience, they won't allow the insurance companies to dictate what's good enough for you. Whether it's an auto accident or workplace injury, contact Phillips Law Firm today. If they don't win, you don't pay.
Want a little more pleasure in your life? Make 2024 your year to experience more pleasure than you thought possible. Lovers has the best adult toys, lingerie, and accessories to explore alone or together. Let our associates guide you on your pleasure journey and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until January 31st. Some exclusions apply.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. On We Can Do Hard Things, my wife Abby, my sister Amanda, and I talk honestly about the hard parts of life. Join us and guests like Michelle Obama, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Brene Brown as we have refreshingly honest conversations. New episodes are out every Tuesday and Thursday, so listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things, an Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.